We play and call it work.
MiniWarGaming's Warhammer 40k Battle Report.
Hello there, Wargamers, and welcome to a very special Warhammer 40k Battle Report. This is our first 9th edition game, or at least we're calling it 9th edition. I don't know if Games Workshop officially calls it 9th edition.
I think they've referenced it as 9th edition.
They've referenced it. Well, that's what we're doing today. It's going to be Space Wolves at 1,500 points versus Tyranids. I am Luka from MiniWarGaming, and this is Matthew. We're doing one of the new Eternal War missions, where you kind of pick your secondaries, and the primaries are all essentially the same. Lots of points to be thrown around. Lots to discuss. We're going to be doing this throughout the course of the battle, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, this intro would be forever long.
And we should get a big caveat here. We don't have the new FAQ,
right?
Or any new points values, because I'm pretty sure those are going to be dropping probably day one. We don't know actually. I'm just assuming. And so if it happens to actually come after we film this, well then we're still going to put this out. Yeah. And so if the points have been changed, we're working with the old points from 8th edition. If an FAQ comes out and does fundamental things to the Space Wolves or Tyranids, well, we don't have that yet. So we're just working with the assumptions of what is just in the rule book. And maybe a couple other things too, like we've noticed that the plasma pistols...
War gear changes big time.
Like unmodified ones now kill a guy, and storm shields give you +1 to your save and a 4-up invulnerable. So we are going to use those too, because you have plasma in your army, right?
I don't.
Oh, you have storm shields.
I have storm shields. So, I do have storm shields.
So we'll use those rules. And then the other big question was the chainsword for Astartes, which they basically, the new units, Astartes chainswords are -1 AP. Do they intend for all chainswords that Space Marines wield to become Astartes chainswords? And we don't know.
So we're not going to do that.
So not going to do that for this game. But if that's been clarified in a Warhammer community post,
right? After you've watched this, we don't know.
Then
right?
just understand that we're working under certain assumptions right now.
So let's go take a look at these armies, explain the scenario, and explain some new 9th edition rules, and throw down. We are going to start this off by taking a look at my 1,500 points of Space Wolves. I'm running a battalion. I was thinking about doing a patrol. Josh almost convinced me, and then I ended up changing up my list a little bit, and then the battalion made way more sense. And I am running an assassin from War of the Spider, a Calidus, and I'll explain the rules of her when that comes up. Now, for my battalion, I am led by RAGNAR, BLACKMANE. He will be my warlord. He is going to have his own warlord trait. I believe it is Saga of the Hunter. I gets to advance in charge, and then if he kills a character, he gets to apply that deed of legend to everyone nearby. And other than that, though, he's just my warlord. He's Ragnar. He hits like a truck. He can kill anything he wants, except he only has a 4-up invuln save and a 3-up save, so he also gets killed very easily. He has to be on the charge. Beside him, we have Bjorn the Ancient, a venerable dreadnought of legendary deeds, also joining forces with Ragnar, just because I wanted to run a lot of dreadnoughts. I like to see my Space Wolf list as mostly infantry and dreadnoughts, though I'm always a little too paranoid to run too much infantry without transports, because Steve has scarred me for life in a few games, so I will typically run a lot of transports now when I play Space Wolves, regardless of who I play against. And then, of course, we have a support character, an Iron Priest. I've never run one of these in 8th edition, but I do have a lot of dreadnoughts, so it seemed fitting. He is going to have his war gear, as you see, that Thunderhammer and the Hellfrost pistol, I believe. It's like the only guy that can take it, and he's got a servo arm, of course. He is a tech marine. And of course, on Bjorn, he does have the assault cannon modeled there. Now, we're going to move on to our troops for the battalion. I have a 10-man squad of intercessors. I'm spending 2 command points right away on veteran intercessors, so they have an increased leadership, and they're going to have an extra attack on their profile, putting them at 3 attacks base. Now the sergeant here, I'm trying this out, and if I like it, which I suspect I will, I am running a Thunderhammer on him. Now you can't see it, obviously it doesn't have it modeled, so you can make fun of me for that. I do not blame you. I typically don't.
I will make fun of you.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't blame you. I do not like playing models that don't have the proper war gear, but you know, I figured if I really like it and I want to run it all the time, I will paint up a Thunderhammer and put it on him. I just don't want to commit to that yet.
You're wondering if you'll like 5 attacks in a charge with a Thunderhammer?
I realize how ridiculous that sounds. I know I'm going to like it. I'm just trying to be...
I wonder, is that good? We'll see.
I suspect I'll like it. Yeah. They all have bolt rifles as well. I didn't change up their bolt guns at all. And I'm running 2 squads of Blood Claws. They are 10-man squad... Well, 9-man squads of Blood Claws, but they are accompanied by a Wolf Guard. So he is going to have a Thunderhammer over here with a bolt pistol. And then the Blood Claw pack leader will have a Power Fist. The remaining Blood Claws just have their bolt pistol chainswords. Over here it is a little different because of, this is where I kind of followed my rule of if I don't have a model I don't pay for it. I only have one guy here with a Storm Shield Thunderhammer. The other one doesn't have a Storm Shield because I couldn't find a model that was appropriately modeled. So he will have both of those, Storm Shield Thunderhammer, Power Fist on the pack leader. The rest will have their bolt pistols and chainswords. They're going to be riding in rhinos, of course, that just have storm bolters each. And I had points left over, and I really did want to run some Sky Claws, so I did. These are essentially Blood Claws that are fast attack choices, and they have jump packs. So they are fast attack, fast assault marines. We have a pack leader with a Power Fist, but no Wolf Guard. So they do have to charge whenever legally required to charge. Well, they always have to charge if they're within charge range. And we're gonna hope that doesn't mess them up too much. And the last parts of my list are 2 Dreadnoughts that are going to be accompanying Bjorn as they walk up the middle of the battlefield, shooting and charging and killing, hopefully, everything in the way. We have a Redemptor Dreadnought who has everything you see here. He's got 2 Storm Bolters on his chest. He has the Onslaught on his left hand, in case you can't quite see his underslung. And we have a Heavy Onslaught, and then we paid for the Rocket Pod just because, well, it's modeled on there and I have no choice but to take it. Well, I do have a choice, but I took it. And then we have a Venerable Dreadnought over here, kind of to go along with Bjorn. He's going to have the Fenrisian Great Axe, the Blizzard Shield, and he's got a Storm Bolter for the Blizzard Shield there. I couldn't quite afford the Flamer. And that is my list at 1,500 points. I guess I should note there's the Callous Assassin, forgot about her. But we also have the Armor of RUSS, my relic on the Iron Priest over there. That will give him a 4-up invulnerable save. And at the start of the fight phase, I get to choose an enemy unit, and they essentially lose their charge bonus. They fight after everything else has fought. So if he gets stuck in combat, he can be a little defensive with that ability. And the Calidus Assassin. The way the new assassins work out of War of the Spider, they do not take up any force organization slot, and they don't take away from any army rules, even including combat doctrines as one of the examples. So combat doctrines say every model in your army has to be from the Space Wolves, for example. Nothing else can be included. Now the assassins supersede that rule and say they can be included in any Imperium force, and I brought the Calidus. I'm not going to swap her up. She's one of my favorites, so I will stick with her. And then that is it for my 1,500 points of Space Wolves. We're going to move on to the Tyranids now.
So I want to talk, before we go on to the Tyranids, about the new detachments, because we're going to assume throughout this battle report that you guys have not read every Warhammer community post and everything else. So basically, if you've played 8th edition, then the detachments will look very familiar to you. In fact, they look almost identical with the exception of the Supreme Command Detachment,
Which thankfully was completely reworked.
pretty much was removed and replaced with something else with the same name. And the Air Wing Detachment was also removed, so you have to bring them inside of your other ones. And the way they work is, instead of earning command points by taking detachments, detachments cost command points. And everybody gets a number of command points depending on the size of the battle. So because we're playing at 1,500 points, we're doing the, I think it's called the Strike Force or the Incursion. I can't remember what this one is called, but we get 12 command points each. So if you want to bring a battalion, it costs 3 command points. Patrol is 2, brigade is 4. But in the case of patrol, battalion, and brigade, you get those command points back if your warlord is in it. So essentially, you're not paying for this first one. Whereas before, you would try to stack up to a
100%.
brigade to get more command points. Now it's just whatever your list that you want to build naturally falls into. The Vanguard, Spearhead, and Outrider still exist, but they all cost 3 command points, and they give you no extra benefits. Whereas before, if you had an extra HQ and 3 heavy support, why not throw them in a Spearhead and get an extra command point? And then the Supreme Command Attachment is only allowed for Primarch, Demon Primarch, or Supreme Commander, not for your triple Custody Shield Captains.
Or, you know, Armin and Demon Princes and all that
Exactly.
nonsense.
Super Heavies, just that one works depending on how many command points you pay, and then the Knights override it. If you want to bring a Lord of War, 3 command points. You want to bring Fortifications, 1 command point, but you get it back if they're the same faction as your Warlord. So if they're not unfactioned, so if they're just your own terrain pieces from your army, it won't cost any command points to bring them. You still have to pay the points, of course. And then you can bring one-off units for a cost of 2 command points each. So Luka essentially spent 3 command points in the battalion and then got it back because his warlord's in it.
Correct.
Now, that Calith Assassin, is she inside of a detachment of her own?
She goes in my battalion, but takes up no slot.
Okay, so she does become part of that detachment, so
Right.
she doesn't cost any command points to bring.
She costs nothing, right?
Okay, so that's how it works now. So it looks similar, but is pretty much the opposite of the way it used to
Right.
be, which I like way better because
This is amazing.
it allows you to build the list you want to, not because you're building it for command points, or you get those cheesy Astra Militarum allies who just min out a brigade, but then they actually are playing Space Marines.
Right, and then you also have things like Custodians who now perfectly fit into a patrol detachment without feeling taxed by taking extra HQs and extra troops, which for them is very expensive.
Yeah, because the patrol is just as effective as a battalion.
Right, you get 12
if this is what you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot more patrols in the future, I suspect.
Yeah, I think so. And on my side, we have a 2,000 point, or 1,500 point list. Sorry, not 2,000, I swear. And it's also battalion, because it just kind of worked. The way I built it was just to kind of pick the army I wanted, and I saw, yeah, it fits in the battalion, so I will bring a battalion, which was natural. And so this is going to be High Fleet Kraken, the last few times I played Tyranids, which has been a while, because we've been off for a bit, and then I've been doing all the web development stuff. I've been playing a lot with the High Fleets, the custom High Fleets from the Psychic Awakening book, Blood of Baal. But I've decided to kind of go back to the roots of what I like and just play Kraken, which I'm still going to be bringing stuff from the Blood of Baal as well, as you will see in a moment. Leading it will be 3 HQ choices. We'll have a Broodlord here. I gave him the Kraken-specific psychic power, Synaptic Lure, which allows me to choose an enemy unit, and all my guys get to reroll charges against him. Also gave him the Resonance Barb, which allows him to cast an extra psychic power, manifest an extra psychic power, and get +1 to his psychic tests, which is kind of nice. And he is going to be my Warlord because I think he's cool and he deserves to be the Warlord. And then we've got a Neurothrope, and we've got Old One Eye. And you can kind of see how I've grouped my units in these themes with the odd Haruspecs and Termagants out. So for example, we've got 2 units of Genestealers, 15 in one and 14 in the other, just the way the points worked out. And so they'll be obviously accompanying the Broodlord, who gives them +1 to hit in close combat. And then we got these Termagants, just 11 of them, because troop choice. And then with the Neurothrope, we've got 2 elites. We've got 2 units of 4 Zonethropes, who will benefit from the rerolling 1s for their psychic tests that come from the Neurothrope. And then accompanying Old One Eye will be a couple of Carnifexes, heavy support choices, both with Monster Siding Talons and Crushing Claws. Tusks, Spore Cysts on their back, so you get -1 to shoot them. And normally I leave that out because I'm like, oh, that's too cheesy, but against Space Marines, you gotta bring out the cheese. And I'm not even sure if this is cheesy, to be honest, because they're Carnifexes, which are good, but they can die pretty easily against a concentrated amount of firepower. And then last but certainly not least, we have my Haruspecs, which I used to never bring because it just wasn't worth the points, but a couple things happened. First off, his points went down in the last chapter approved a while back, which was nice, but still not enough. But then the Psychic Awakening Blood of Baal book came out, and it gave him a couple benefits. First off, there's a new stratagem that makes him better. But more specifically, instead of taking a Warlord trait, I can take an Adaptive Physiology. And one of them is give a monster one of their weapons +1 strength, AP, and damage. So I give that to this guy, so he hits like a tank in close combat. If he makes it there, if he doesn't get shot to death. And that is basically it. So I'm not going to go over every psychic power that I have or every little special rule. We'll kind of catch those as we move on. I wanted to see how psychic worked in the new edition. I wanted to, once again, go back to a close combat army. I'm thankful that Luka didn't just bring a super shooty Space Wolves list, like with lots of extra Primaris Dreadnoughts and Repulsors and stuff, because this list would not hold up to that. And it is interesting to see the little changes to close combat that you're going to see, and we'll go over those as they happen. That might make this more effective than it used to be, but we'll have to wait and see, because he's also good in close combat with his 5 attack Thunderhammers and things like that. So that's my 1,500 points of Kraken Tyranids. We are going to be playing Frontline Warfare, the second Eternal War mission for Strike Force, so this points level. It's kind of nice they have different missions for the different levels, so hopefully that means they put thought into what happens when you scale up and when you scale down. So this one has 4 objectives, all 16 inches from the center of the battlefield, and then just your typical deployment of the long table edges. Now, depending on the table size that you're playing this on, you're always going to be 12 inches from the center. So whether you're playing on the standard 4x6 or their minimum 44 inches by 60 inches, just remember, you always deploy more than 12 inches from the center. Now, this one has, of course, their primary objectives, take and hold, that at the end of each of your player's command phases, so not the end of your turn, but your end of your command phase, so essentially after your opponent has been able to go, you get 5 points if you score at least 1 objective. You get another 5 points if you hold at least 2 objectives. And if you control more objectives than your opponent, you get another 5 points for a maximum of 15 victory points per turn. The normal rules apply, which you might not be familiar with yet, but you cannot get more than 45 victory points for your primary throughout the entire game. So for example, you took over the whole entire table and we're holding all the objectives and we're getting 15 victory points each turn, after the third one, you wouldn't get any more. Secondary objective-wise, we'll go over after this, but the one that comes in this mission is called Vital Ground, that at the end of each of your command phases, you get another 3 victory points if you control the objective marker in your opponent's deployment zone, and 2 extra victory points for each objective marker that is in the center that you control, for a maximum of 7 victory points each turn.
Some of the terrain we are using in this game, the mat comes from GameMat.eu. The ruined buildings with snow on them are custom built from Adam at Greenleaf Terrain. We have a lot of Games Workshop kits in the form of the Space Sea Cans and the cranes and all of the Sector Mechanicus stuff. And lastly, some of the Space Sea Cans are also from Micro Art Studios, if you like that design a little bit more than Games Workshop's.
Now, as part of setting up for the mission, each of us has to choose 3 secondary objectives. I'm not going to go over all of them here because that's not the point of this video. But the ones I chose are Assassinate, so I score 3 victory points for every character that I kill. I chose Thin Their Ranks, where I score a victory point for every 10 models that I kill, although any models with 10 or more wounds count as 10 models themselves as well. And then lastly, I'm taking the one from the mission, the vital objectives, or whatever it's called, where I get the extra victory points for holding the middle ones or the one in Luka's deployment zone.
And now for my objectives, I took 1 from No Mercy, No Respite. I took Attrition. So I scored 4 victory points at the end of every battle round if I destroyed more enemy units than Matthew was able to destroy mine. We have Engage on All Fronts. I gain points based on how many table quarters I control. 2 at the end of every turn if I control at least 3 of them, and I get 3 if I control 4. And then I also took the one from the scenario, which is Vital Ground, and I score 2 victory points if I control the No Man's Land objectives, and 3 if I control the one in my opponent's territory. So still going for the same ones on that one. And ideally for these, you choose 1 from each section. I don't want to go into too much details, but that's why I didn't take all from Purge.
You can't choose more than 1 from each section.
That's right. Yes, so you can only take 1 from Purge, 1 from No Mercy, 1 from here, 1 from there. That's why they're all spread out.
Part of the missions, including Strategic Reserve, is choosing who the attacker and defender are. Now, this isn't as nearly a big a deal as it was in 8th edition, but we roll off, the winner decides, attacker, defender. Essentially, the defender gets to choose where their deployment is, but they also must start deploying first. But because deployment is back and forth now, and I guess it's back and forth now, I deploy a unit, then Luka will deploy a unit, it's not as big a disadvantage, so kind of disappointed in that. But yeah, I'm going to choose this side over here.
This is Dawn of
Pan
War
down,
style.
Luka, pan down.
Sorry, I was thinking about the scenario for a second. We have like your Dawn of War style over there.
I feel like Gordon Ramsay. Pan down, Luka. Pan down. So yeah, I'm going to deploy on this side, and I think that's good because then we got all this terrain and stuff. I think. I don't know. I'm overthinking it. We're just going to be meeting in the middle and fighting there, and then there's going to be some things out there. There's a lot of new terrain rules as well that we're going to go over throughout this thing. It's a lot of improvements to terrain. So
100%. Lots to cover.
Maybe we should cover that right now really quickly.
I agree.
Let's cover the basics at least. So they've added a lot of new terrain rules, which at first glance I think are actually going to be a huge improvement. As I remember when 8th edition first came out, it was a bit of a mess with how terrain worked, and it wasn't clear, or it just didn't seem to make sense, especially when it came to custom terrain. And so what we have is we have different kinds here. I'm not going to go over every last rule for terrain, but essentially every piece of terrain, you have to give it some keywords. And those keywords basically are the rules that it follows, such as defensible. So all of these ruins are defensible. What that means is that because they're ruins, if an infantry unit is wholly on it, then they can elect to hold steady or set to defend if no enemies are in engagement range. What that means, it holds steady, lets them overwatch in a 5+, and now overwatch requires a command point, it can only be done once. And set to defend is they cannot overwatch, but they get +1 to their hit rolls when they're in combat. So basically, as your opponent's making their way through, you're ready to go and attacking them. But ruins have more than just defensible. So what they suggest ruins have are also scalable, breachable, light cover, and obscuring.
Yes.
So light cover is what you think it is. Essentially, the whole unit's on it. They get +1 to their saves.
Against shooting attacks.
Against shooting attacks. But the really cool one that I'm going to be having fun with is obscuring. So the way obscuring works is it basically blocks line of sight. That's the short version of it.
It breaks you don't use true line of sight when obscuring.
Right, exactly. So if this is blocking, unless you can see the base of the model outside of this, so like if this was a model and it was like this and you were over here, then you can see it. But if the model was here, but you could see its arm,
Right.
then you can't see it. And
Or
of course,
see them through the windows.
yeah, if you can see them through the windows, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like you have to, basically this thing blocks, you have to treat this as blocking line of sight.
Right.
And the only way you can see is if you see their base. So if there's an arm sticking out, which is always the case with with all my models, they're all big and gangly with large arms. It's like I can never get cover because there's some tentacle or wing or something sticking out. Well now, unless you are enormous, I think it's 18 wounds or more.
Correct.
Then you cannot be seen through these. And so, for example, Luka set this up in the middle here, and he'd call it obscuring.
Yeah.
Which means it'll also block line of sight. So if I have a model here and you can see his head, it doesn't matter. You can't shoot him unless you come over here.
I'd have to be over here to see his base. And obscuring has to go on pieces of terrain that are at least 5 inches or taller.
Exactly. Otherwise, they can get, what's the other one called that's 3 inches or taller?
Dense, which is what I suggested we put on these sector, because they don't actually suggest anything for the sector mechanics, but it doesn't.
They probably will eventually come up with
Yeah.
all the different data sheets for these different pieces because that's what they had before. But dense basically is you get -1 to hit things when you fire through it.
Correct.
But if you are in the dense thing, you no longer get the -1 to hit because I think these are dense too. Are ruins dense?
No, because obscuring trumps dense.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Because you can't see through it anyways.
Exactly.
But if they were dense rather than obscuring, then if you go inside of it, you no longer get the -1 to hit, but you'll get cover.
Right.
So it's like if you're behind it, it's -1 to hit. If you're in it, it's +1 save.
The same is true for obscuring. If you're inside of it, you can get
It's no
shot
longer
at.
obscuring.
Correct.
Yeah. So being inside of the ruin, you ignore everything I just said. You can see into it. So this all sounds complicated at first, but in just like 10 minutes, I was able to look through it and be like, oh, I think I get it. And it looks complicated when you look at all their suggestions for terrain, all the different keywords you give it, but then you start to notice a pattern that they're all just telling you the rules that terrain mostly had already. It's just they've added a couple little things like obscuring and dense. And he already had cover before with +1, but now if it's beyond it, it's either you can't see or it's -1 to shoot. And little things like that. There are a couple other things too that will go like unstable positions or inspiring or all these different ones. But we'll go over those if they come up. So I think it's slick. I'm pretty excited to try this out because maybe for once I can find places that I won't just get shot off the table turn 1.
Right.
But we'll see.
I'm completely impressed as well. I just want to throw my 2 cents in there.
So we're gonna get deployed and then show you the deployment after that.
Now Matt and I are done deploying. I have a Rhino with Blood Claws. I have Intercessors. And I have the Intercessors like this for 2 reasons, because there's not a lot of room there in that one particular spot.
Good reason.
And I have to have them coherent. Now the new coherency rules are as follows. If you are 5 or less models, it's the old rules. Stay within 2, done. Now if you have 6 or more models, you have to stay within 2 inches of 2 models, or else risk breaking coherency, and then bad things will follow. We'll explain more of that when it comes up. That's in the morale phase. If you play Age of Sigmar, you'll know what I'm talking about.
We should point out that you cannot choose to break coherency when you're deploying or moving.
Exactly.
It can come up when you're losing models from being shot at or in combat, but when you're deploying or moving, you must remain in coherency. And if you cannot do that move.
Exactly. That's
the same as before.
That's the same as before.
Yeah.
But if you remove models through attacks, then you risk serious repercussions. And I don't think that's going to come up in this game, and if it does, it's probably going to be accidental. Yeah. I'm hoping, and that's going to be on my end, so I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. We got Ragnar with Intercessors there. We have my Venerable Dreadnought with his axe and shield. We have Bjorn, the much more Venerable Dreadnought, leading behind, and we have the new character look.
Venerable-er.
Venerable-er.
The Venerable-er.
You're right.
He's the Venerable-er Dreadnought.
The Venerable-ist.
The Venerable-ist.
Dreadnought. So we have the new Lookout Sir rule, where characters, it's essentially the same rules as before. They cannot get shot at unless they're the nearest, but they have to be within 3 inches of a unit of 3 or more models or a vehicle or monster. So in this case, Bjorn is a character with less than 9 wounds, or 9 or less wounds, and then we have the Iron Priest here, who has the same qualifications beside these 2 vehicles, which will be protecting them. But if off on their own, then they are easy prey for all of Matthew's shooting.
All of my 11 Termagants and my Harspex's tongue.
Exactly.
I can't tongue them. I have to tongue the guys out front.
And lastly, I have this over here, 1 Rhino with the Blood Claws, and this is the Wolf Guard without the Storm Shield. Now, as reinforcements, I can't remember the proper term is off the top of my head. There's strategic reserves and reinforcements, I believe, for those units that have built-in rules that allow them to wait patiently in reserves. I have my Calidus Assassin and my Skyclaws, who are using their jump packs to descend upon the battlefield come turn 2. And on to your side, Matthew, what do you got?
I didn't decide to put anything in reserve because when you pay command points to put things in reserve, which is something you can do now, they only come in the sides.
Right.
And the objectives are so far away from the sides that I can't, it just wouldn't make much sense.
It doesn't feel right justifying that.
Yeah. Even if we've talked about, because they have a new minimum size table that's smaller, we've talked about just kind of, that would be 3 inches smaller than the sides of these.
And then like 2
of saying just kind of add that 3 inches onto whatever things are coming in to, but whatever. It just doesn't make sense. So everything of mine is on the table. It was hard choices. I chose this side even though it restricted my deployment because I had more obscured cover. And if Luka goes first, I want to really limit his shooting so that we can actually get fighting rather than everything just dying within the first 2 turns of shooting. Now he doesn't have nearly as much as he could, but there's still a decent amount of firepower over there. And so since each of these ruins are obscured, I tried to hide stuff behind him, and because this thing is dense, then anything behind that will give a -1. So what you're essentially seeing is a neurothrope in the middle here, which you can't see, but he's within 6 inches of the 2 zoanthrope groups, 1 on each side, and that'll give them their reroll 1 if I keep them there. On the one flank over here, we got old One Eye back here, and then 2 Carnifexes out front. So he is Lookout Sir capable because he's got less than 10 wounds. And both the Zoanthrope groups and the Carnifexes would qualify for giving him the Lookout Sir. In the middle we have some Termagants. I'm not sure if you can see that, but they're holding the objective right now at least. And then we swing over to this side, and this is where we get our Genestealer group. So we got our Broodlord and 2 units of Genestealers. Now the one was purposely put to try to avoid being shot at, but obviously the other one couldn't be done perfectly, although if you kind of go that way towards Dreadnoughts.
They're relatively safe.
I think they're safe, except for, you have your Rhino with a little bit of Stormbolter shots.
Right, there's that. It is hard to hide from
You can't hide from everything, but I can make sure that you don't have free reign to do whatever the heck you want. Now, part of this is a product of how much terrain we put on the table. Here at MiniWarGaming, especially me, I like lots of terrain because I think it looks cool. Whether I'm a shooting army or a close combat army, I enjoy the look of a thematic board. So what you do at home is really going to change it. Even in the rule book, their suggested setup has not a lot of terrain on it, and I've never liked their suggested setups because I just don't think they look nice.
Well, we're spoiled here.
We're spoiled. I know we're spoiled here. That's what I'm saying. You might be using books and cups. Doesn't matter. I still think you want some pretty good amounts of cover, even if you're both shooting armies, because it forces you to reposition. It forces you to make choices. And it's not just sit back and artillery each other until the game is over. So that's how I feel. In a game that 40K that has a lot of shooting, right. Age of Sigmar is more close combat oriented, so the cover doesn't play as much as of a role, but it can still manipulate the game for sure. So that is my deployment. Did I mention the Harspecs in the middle? There's a Harspecs
in the middle.
Harspecs in the middle.
Threatening,
The
as
end.
always. The end. I also wanted to note one thing about terrain. It's very minor, but I find it funny. Games Workshop seems to have given up on trying to give vehicles and monsters cover. There's nowhere in the rules does it say this is how you gain +1 to your save for a vehicle or monster. It just doesn't exist.
Now they can still be obscured.
Yes.
They can still have the dense thing, but he's talking about specifically the ones that give you plus to your saving throws.
Yeah. No, that is not a thing for them.
And that's fine because it was always janky before.
Yeah.
At best, it was janky. At worst, you just ignored it and never got cover anyways.
I don't blame them for giving up. Now, Matthew and I are going to roll off to see who declares who goes first. There's no bonuses to this or anything like that.
It doesn't matter who finished a point first. It doesn't matter who had the bigger or smaller army. It doesn't matter anything. We just roll off, which means we re-roll ties. When you're deploying, you have no idea who's going first. And there is no season initiative, which makes sense.
Thank you.
Well, because we're just doing a roll-off. Why would there... It's like, let's roll off, and then I'll just roll again and see if I get a 6 and say, screw you. Because you already deployed not knowing whether you're going first, so C's really has no tactical purpose at this point.
A 6 and a 5. Well, that will give me the power, and I think tactically I could be a jerk and tell Matt to go first. Would that make me a jerk?
I don't know.
Well, because you come into the obscuring
I thought
area.
you were going to say the opposite with the first part of that sentence.
Right.
I thought would end opposite.
Right.
In the second part.
Well, I don't really have any, like, the biggest thing I could do is move forward and shoot this Redemptor, and that's my turn.
Yeah, right? But there's objectives.
There is objectives, too, to go for.
I'm not going to tell you which one's better, but I'm just saying, like, you go first, you grab objectives. You go second, obviously, I expose myself more for your shooting.
I'm curious. I think I'm going to go second. I'm kind of curious to see where this game's
There's
going
no
to go.
double turns in this game.
There is no double turns, that's right. I'm gonna opt to actually go second. Oh, you know what isn't in the new book? The defensive positions, the prepare positions, where you spend 2 command points and gain cover. That's actually out of the game now that I think about it.
That's not in the new stratagems?
That wasn't in the new stratagems. Yeah.
Interesting.
But yeah, seems to be gone. I also want to note another reason why I want to go second is because of one of my secondary objectives, which is attrition. I have to kill more than you kill the mine, so I get to see how much of my stuff you've killed.
Which will be like nothing.
Which might be nothing. So then I'm like, okay, I only have to kill one thing. So it's one of those things where I don't want to kill too much because I don't want to.
Because then later on, like if you kill 5 things and I kill nothing, but then you're just going to win because I'll be dead.
That's true too. Anyways, you get to go first.
Tyranids turn 1.
Now, before we get too deep into the Tyranid stuff, I do want to note a couple things I said incorrectly in the army showcase. Ragnar, I said the wrong warlord trait. He actually has warrior born, Saga of the warrior born. He always fights first in the fight phase, unless, you know, my opponent has charged and you alternate starting with the opponent. And that is unlocked by killing a character, which will allow all other Space Wolf units nearby to always fight first as well. And I forgot to mention that Bjorn here has an ability that gives me a command point because he is a legendary commander, I believe. He doesn't have to be my warlord for that. He just gives me 1 command point. So I'm starting this game with 11 after spending 2 on veteran intercessors. Now we can do Tyranid stuff.
So starting off, we've got a new phase, the command phase. The first part of the command phase is that I get 1 command point, so I'm up to 13. So you actually always gain some more command points for those last minute, late game kind of pushes. And then any other command phase stuff is resolved. For example, in this mission, it's at the end of the command phase that we start to get points. Now, both the primary and secondary objective that come in this mission cannot be achieved in the first battle round, which makes sense. It'd be like, hey, at the end of the command phase, oh, we get 5 victory points.
I got 5.
Well, no, not necessarily.
That's true, you could kill my stuff.
Because maybe I would like kill the stuff off of it. Like, woohoo! I went first. I'm so good at this game. So yeah, you don't get any in the first battle round for this specific mission. Then I have nothing else that happens to command phase for me. I'm assuming that the longer 9th edition is out, the more things will be introduced to happen in the command phase. But right now, I just get a command point. And then we have movement. My movement's going to be pretty straightforward. I'm going to be moving up and readjusting. Should point out when I move, I need to make sure that we stay in coherency, which for my bigger units of 6 or more models, each model has to be in coherency with 2 other models.
Please keep saying that out loud because I'm going to forget coherence. I swear I'm going to keep forgetting about the coherency thing. It's so good, but it's going to be hard for me to remember.
We'll show an after of all my movement, but the one that's going to be kind of interesting will be this first group of Gene Stealers. So because I'm Kraken, when they advance, I can roll 3 dice and take the best one. So that's a 5, and there's a Kraken stratagem that lets me double my advance, and it does not prohibit a charge afterwards, and Gene Stealers can advance and charge. And so I'm just wondering if I should actually take advantage of that, because that would be an 18-inch move.
Hello!
You know what the heck? I'm going to do it.
Whew. All right,
Yeah.
so they're going to advance an extra 10 inches.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a command point. It's a Kraken-specific stratagem that lets them double the length of their advance. And the fun thing about that is, I want to point this out, if I had the Swarm Lord, if I got them to move again, they would still have that double.
Right. And
Because it adds it to their movement, period. It doesn't...
Make it over here?
Yeah, I could move 20 inches twice, but I don't have the Swarm Lord, so we're all good. And then everything else is just going to run forward and reposition. The rest of my Gene Stealers, Broodlord and the Haruspecs, come in to join the very ambitious Gene Stealers up front. Everything else is kind of floated forward. My 2 Carnifexes and old One Eye are taking cover behind this big old obstacle to minimize the shooting that I can get at them. They might still be able to charge me, but that's fine. And then the Termagants just stay in the back. Nice and simple.
Right, they're hiding here behind this building. And that is movement psychic phase now.
We're going to start with Synaptic Lure. So in the psychic phase, there's not much that has changed. Importantly, you can't fall back and do psychic powers. But the other little minor change is when you choose a Psyker, you got to resolve all their psychic stuff before moving on to the next one. I think for some armies that'll have some effect, but for most armies, it won't make much of a difference. So Denying the Witch works the same, Perils works pretty much the same, all that stuff works the same. Point of interest, though, they did incorporate the match play stuff from 8th edition into just the rules. So you can't cast the same power or manifest the same power except for Smite. So we're going to start with Synaptic Lure, which is a Kraken-specific one from Psychic Awakening. I choose an enemy unit anywhere on the table, and I can re-roll charges against it from any of my units.
Cool.
I get a +1 to my test as well, so that's a 9. And you can't deny because you got no wizards.
Right.
You got no Psychers.
Yeah, Matthew's got psychic domination on this.
Yes, domination. And then there's no Smite as well. I gave him the Resonance Barb, so I can cast one additional or manifest an additional power. So that's an 11. It's +1.
Oh, that's D6 mortal wound.
Yes.
Oh, what other smites do you have?
All of them.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, you know what?
But it's got to be on this one, which
I
is
suspect he's dead anyway, so let's do it.
whatever. 1 mortal wound!
All right.
And I can't re-roll that with the command point.
Yeah, that's right.
So the command point re-roll stratagem has changed.
It has stipulations.
There's only certain things that can re-roll. It can re-roll a number of attacks that a weapon has. Psychic, all the stuff you'd think, like hits, wounds, saves, damage, psychic tests. So you use 1 command point to re-roll the entire psychic test, not just the die, because in 8th edition it was re-roll a die. Now it's re-roll the roll. Same thing with morale tests, all that. But that's it. So that is not a re-rollable roll.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, now that I saw how that smite went, I had positioned these zone throws because basically if this one casts smite, it'll hit your rhino. And if the one on the other side casts smite, it'll hit your dreadnought. And because I have at least 4, they'll do 2 D3 mortal wounds, or D6 plus D3 if I roll really high. And so if I had done a lot of damage over there, yeah, I totally would have, if I could have gotten lucky and smitten the rhino to death and then charged the guys inside, that would have been tight, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to go with these ones next. Remember, I have to finish everything they do, and every time I cast smite, it goes up by 1 in difficulty, and that is built into the rules now. So I'm going to have this zone throw attempt to smite. And I pass it, and I don't re-roll anything because I'm not close enough to the neurothrope. So D3 plus D3 mortal wounds. So 3 mortal wounds to your dreadnought.
I'm going to let him go ahead and take that for now, and he is going to take his 3, go down to 10.
And because there's at least 4 of them, they can actually manifest 2 powers. So I'm going to attempt to manifest Catalyst, which ignores wounds on 5s. Ooh, that fails. But I could do my, because it's once per phase, I will do my command point reroll to reroll this test. Now there was so many arguments I'd get in the comments whenever I'd reroll only 1 die in 8th edition, because in the old one it was reroll 1 of the dice, so you'd have to actually pay 2 command points to reroll both, which of course you couldn't do in match play. But now it specifies you reroll the whole test.
Which is both better and worse.
It's kind of cancels it out, because
before
I just reroll the lower die, but if I rolled 2 2s, I'd want to reroll both.
Exactly.
So I got it.
And who's that going on?
The Gene Stealers out front, because they're going to get a lot of retribution when you come out. So 5 up invulnerable, 5 up ignoring wounds might help. Swing on over here. We're going to go with these zone thropes next because I really want to get their smite off because it does the extra mortal wounds. So we're going to start with smite, which will unfortunately only be able to target your rhino. Not the most interesting target, but hey, maybe I'll get lucky and get D6 and D3 and roll a 6 and a 3. But first I got to get it, so it's plus 2 to the difficulty now, so we're up to 7 difficulty. And we get it with 8, so it's 2 D3 mortal wounds. We're looking at 4 mortal wounds to your rhino.
Down to 6.
They also know the horror, which is 24 inches, minus 1 hit rolls and leadership. I'm going to put on the intercessors if I can get it. Need a 6. I get a 6. I don't need to re-roll the 1 because I've got it and you can't deny.
We do have line of sight down this lane here.
Yeah, I double checked that.
Yeah. When he moved, he made sure. Just if anyone's curious that we're forgetting obscuring, we're not.
Yeah, it was there.
Right.
I made sure.
Right,
there you
that's
go.
the mark.
There you go.
We'll remember that. Well, that will help.
And now we have my Neurothrope, who knows Onslaught, which allows me to advance and still charge, but I don't have any need for that right now. But he also knows Smite. Now he can only, because of the obstacle, we can only see the Rhino. But maybe I'll get lucky and do 6 more mortal wounds to it. Who knows? I need an 8 to cast.
Oh, right. Okay.
And I can't re-roll it if I wanted to, because I've already done that command, that stratagem.
Which is still the same rules as last edition.
Once per phase.
Stratagems once per phase.
Into the shooting phase, I do have guns, but none of them are in range. 12-inch shots from my Termagants and a bit of a tongue from the Haruspecs. So we're just going to skip that and go straight to the charging phase. I am going to declare charge of the Gene Stealers here. Now the fun thing is, you still kind of works like it did before. You can declare multiple charges. Whoever you declare the charge against is who you can fight. But they've added a couple things. First off, if you declare multiple targets as your charge targets, you have to get into engagement range with all of them. And engagement range is 1 inch horizontally or 5 inches vertically.
Which is an amazing change.
Which is cool, because now you can't just be like you, and you. Because before it's like, you're close, so you're my safety, but I really want them. So you and you. And then if I didn't make enough for them, it's like, whatever, I'll just go for them. Now you can't do that, because you'd have to actually get to both of them. Second thing is, if you're heroically intervened, if a character come in, or in case the Space Wolves, one of their units, because they have a stratagem for that, you can still choose to fight them as well.
Right.
So you don't have to think, do I need to target that character who's probably going to pile in anyway so I can attack him? If they heroically intervene, they're fair game. So I checked, I need 6 inches to get into engagement range.
Should be easy enough.
Yeah, it should be. I get to re-roll it because of Synaptic Lure, but I don't like the fact that I'm re-rolling this.
Hey!
You know what? I'm glad for that because more guys are going to get in combat. So, interesting. There's a couple things I have to think of. First off, the rule has not changed for pile-in. You have to end closer if you're piling in. So if you're touching, you can't move at all, whereas in Age of Sigmar you can. But the other thing I have to think of is coherency. So for example, like right now I'm in coherency when I've moved these 3 up because he's within coherency of 2 other guys. But what I want to do is wrap, because he's within 2 inches of him right there.
Because their bases are less than 1 inch each.
Yeah, or they are 1 inch each. I want to wrap around and then spread out so that you have nowhere to disembark. But I don't think I'm going to be able to accomplish that with the new coherency rules. With the old rules, no problem, because I got that 2-inch gap, right? I could easily just pile in like this and then pile in closer. But we're still going to try it, but like I said, I doubt I'm going to be able to accomplish it. We also forgot to talk about Overwatch. Overwatch is now a stratagem. Costs 1 command point, unless you're Tau, in which case you just break all the rules, whatever. And you obviously didn't want to spend a command point to fire a Stormbolter hitting on 6s. Because other than that, it works just like Overwatch did in 8th edition. That brings us to the fight phase. Now it's mostly the same, that chargers go first and you have a 2 command point stratagem to interrupt back and forth. But now, once all chargers are done, your opponent chooses who goes first. In this case, you're not really going to see that matter, but in future turns where there's more stuff in close combat, you might really see that come up. So I'm obviously going to go first with my Gene Stealers and just annihilate, hopefully. So we're just going to... So basically, the people who can fight are those that are engagement range, which is 1 inch horizontally or 5, or within half an inch of somebody who's within half an inch. It's not half an inch of somebody who's in engagement range. It's half an inch of half an inch. So if I had a higher up level, for example, and somebody was up here, then he's in engagement range, but the next one that's within half an inch is not.
Correct.
So the half-inch thing only works if the other one is within half an inch. So we're going to pile in a couple of these here to make sure we get every single model within half an inch of a guy within half an inch. And we got spikes stopping me, but we can all get in there.
Yeah.
Now you might think, oh, no problem, this should do it. 60 attacks, but I'm not so confident. Gene Stealers have never been good vehicle killers. So we got 3s to hit.
And these are with Rending Claws.
These are the Rending Claws. Ooh, got one cocked there. Strength 4 versus toughness higher than 4, probably 6.
7 or 6? It's 7.
It doesn't matter, it's higher and it's not double. It's the same strength versus toughness chart as 8th edition, so I'm going to be winning on 5s, but 6s are AP minus 4 thanks to my rending rule. And I think that'll get you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right there. One shot you just with the rending.
Nice, very good job. So I'll see if I explode now. So they kept the rules the same for this. It's still the same order. You roll to explode, then you put the models down, and then you'd see if they disappear on 1s, and then you remove the Rhino. So do I explode? No. And you can't re-roll stuff like that anymore.
Yes, whereas before you could.
Yes.
Not that you'd ever usually re-roll a explodes result.
Right.
But there's a lot of little dice rolls you make that you don't get to re-roll anymore.
So this is my placement. They're all wholly within 3, outside of engagement range of the enemy when they do their emergency disembarkation. Unfortunately, 2 of the Blood Claws cannot fit.
So we had a discussion about this because in the rule book, at least the quick glance that we took in disembarking, it does not actually say what happens to models that cannot disembark. It just says they must be placed wholly within 3 inches, that's changed, and not in engagement range, period. So it doesn't say what to do when that's not possible. There is a 1 command point stratagem called emergency disembark, which lets you do it wholly within 6 inches instead. So clearly you're going to turn to that. But that stratagem now has you die on 1s and 2s rather than just 1s. And so we're not sure exactly what to do with models that can't fit. We're thinking that the FAQ or somewhere else in the book we're going to find that says they're just destroyed, because I can't imagine they say that the whole unit's destroyed.
Just like it was last edition.
Or that those 2 can just be placed as close as possible, because what if there is no as close as possible? What if you're backed into a corner? Like, there's got to be an answer to when you literally cannot place all the models. Because it might not just be models in your way, it could just be terrain in the way or the edge of the board. So I would assume, and Luka agrees, that they'll FAQ it, or there's somewhere else in the book that's already clarified it that we didn't find, that destroys those models. So Luka has a choice. Does he just automatically kill 2 models, then roll a die for all the remaining 1s, and every 1 kills another model? Or does he spend the command point so he can place those 2 models, because it makes it 6 inches, and then roll, and every 1 and 2 they die? If you do the math, you lose about the same number of guys, But if you spend a command point, you've spent a command point, but you have a chance to have more guys on the table.
Losing less, but the odds say you don't.
The odds say that you still lose as many guys, but it kind of becomes one of those, it's just a law of averages, right?
Right.
Like on average you'll do this, but it kind of spreads out what the high and low is. So you don't want to spend the command point?
I don't think, I'm just going to take the loss on the 2.
And then roll to see what happens to the remaining 8.
Exactly, and hopefully not roll any ones. And if I roll 1-1, then the
Well, 1-1.
averages all kind of come out in the end, right? And
Yeah, it's all the same.
and that's how she goes.
We'll see. The real question is how many 2s you roll, not how many 1s you roll.
Okay, well that's unfortunate.
So 2 die, but you would have had 1 more die, and you would have rolled 2 more dice. So it wouldn't have been a benefit to spend the command point, it looks like.
And also something to note, you can't reroll these either with the command point reroll.
That's right.
So
Which is
another
good
example,
because things like that, where it's like you only roll 1s and this happens, being able to reroll is basically just guaranteeing that it's not happening. So 2 of them died. That means 4 of them died. And so we're actually going to be able to see what morale does. I think 4 is enough for you to care.
It is. Lastly, the Rhino, she is now gone. But the Rhino did protect some Space Wolf lives. Would you like to consolidate?
I will consolidate for one purpose, which is to get me off of this building, because I want it to obscure me. Because right now, because I'm in it, I'm no longer obscured by it, so you can shoot at me for units that away.
Right.
So I'm going to come closer to you, but not engagement range. And this one's going to move this way closer, but not engagement range. And we're going to just do that, make sure I stay in coherency. We're just going to kind of bunch everybody else up so that when you charge in. Yeah, sorry, he needs to come closer to you, so I should have left that space for him. And I'm getting off that, so now you can't see me as easily. Like, you might be able to reposition and see me.
But that forces me to do that.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll hopefully keep these guys alive a little longer. Into the morale phase, and the only models removed were from this unit. Now, morale's changed, I'd say significantly. It looks the same at first. The way you make your morale test is the same. You roll a d6, you add up how many models were lost from the unit. If you roll a 1, it's an automatic pass, so that's changed. So no matter how many you've lost, you could have lost 50 guys from a 60-man squad. And if you roll a 1, you're good. You've passed your morale test. But if it exceeds your leadership, then you failed your morale. But what happens next is different. 1 guy automatically runs, and then you roll a die for every remaining guy. And for every 1 that you roll, you remove another 1. If they're at half strength or less, then for every 1 or 2, they are then removed. So it's a weird dynamic. It kind of shifts how many guys will be removed. We're still trying to figure out if this benefits hordes or benefits elites, because hordes now, if you take out 20 guys and they had a leadership of 5, you're not automatically removing 15 more.
That's the only thing we know so
yeah,
far. Yeah,
but at the same time, when you do the math, it just means that, like with a small group of Space Marines, if you fail this, for example, before, at most, you could lose 1 or 2 guys.
I could lose the rest of you.
But you could lose more than that if you fail. But now you got your Space Marine and they show no fear, so you're likely to pass this anyways. But if you did fail it, it could be much more devastating. So it feels more devastating towards elite units and more forgiving towards hordes, which is kind of opposite of what you think would be needed. So let's do it.
So I am leadership 8 on this unit because I have the Wolf Guard veteran included in it. Otherwise, it would only be 7. So I lost 4. I'm going to add 4 to this result, and I rolled a 1.
So you pass no matter what.
And that's it.
Now, as much as I don't count these victory points till the end, I did take the thin the lines secondary objective, which is for every 10 models I destroy, I get a victory point. But any models that have 10 or more wounds count as 10 models. So that Rhino has 10 wounds. So it actually counted as an entire victory point on its own. So that's basically 1 and a bit victory points right there. And then when we look at objectives, I have taken control of number 4 right here on the side and the one in the back. Now, they're not worth any victory points yet because we're still in the first battle round. Not that I would score them right now anyways, it's the end of the command phase, but it's just to note that I do have both of those right now.
All right, now it's going to be Space Wolves, turn 1. So I go into my command phase now, not scoring any points because it's still the first battle round, but I do get a command point going back up to 12, thanks to Bjorn, putting me back up to 11. And onto movement, pretty basic. These guys are just going to stay there. There's no real reason to move them too much. Not too concerned with them. Now the rest of my stuff is going to be a wee bit more aggressive. And by a wee bit, I mean a lot more aggressive. You know what, technically? I think that this would be in the command phase now. The Rhino repair is something that happens at the start of your turn. That would probably go to the command phase.
Well, that's technically before the command phase.
Yeah,
then.
technically before the command phase.
Well, that's important because if you had 0 command points left and you had some sort of stratagem to help repair better, then you just don't have that yet.
It's true.
Because the start of the turn is before the phase starts. But not that we care.
Fix a Rhino. It's just on a d6 roll of a 6, I heal. I got a 5. I did not. I'm going to go ahead and move this Redemptor Dreadnought up his 8 inches. dragging that guy along with him. He's going to end up here, and then we're going to go ahead and advance the Venerable. He only moves 6 base. Advancing, who's technically there, he's going to go an extra 3 inches to allow him to go a little bit further forward. He'll end up there. And then Bjorn is going to move 8 because he does have the assault cannon I wouldn't mind to shoot. For some reason, being the most venerablest dreadnought, he's also the fastest venerablest dreadnought. So
the most venerablest?
So he's just going to end up about here. And then I have to consider this objective as something important to go for as well. I have an idea what I'll do for that. The Iron Father here is going to advance as well. Not the Iron Father, sorry, the Iron Priest. And he's going to go forward. Don't have to worry about too much. He's going to go back there. And then, it's technically at the end of the movement phase, but I'm going to remember it right now. He has the Battlesmith rule. He gets to heal a vehicle D3 wounds if he is within 1 inch. So he's going to heal the Redemptor 3. All the smite damage has been repaired. These intercessors are going to move 6 inches up in this direction. They are -1 to hit right now, unfortunately. But hopefully that doesn't hurt them too much. And we're going to move... you know what, we're actually going to bring it a little bit closer to the piece of terrain because I do want these guys to come up and around and be near objective 1 because I do need something around it. They're going to end their move like this, getting near the objective, making sure they're all still legally coherent. And then Ragnar will move... We're going to advance him, I suppose. Not too sure what I plan on doing with him. He got 4. I want to stay away from the CARNIFEX. For now, they're a little scary. So we're going to go ahead and move him just to about here. Aha! Not too sure what his plan is yet, but he will do something later. And this Boar Rhino is going to move. It moves 12 inches. It's going to get the crap beaten out of it, but we're going to go here and get near that objective anyways. We get within 3. And again, you don't actually measure from the center of objectives anymore. It recommends you use objectives of 40 millimeter in size, and then you measure to the nearest part of said objective. I'll be honest, I kind of prefer the measure to the middle, but they know better than I do, and I used to, and I know that. So I'll go with what they say. And with that, that will conclude movement. I'm going to go into shooting. I'm just going to start with that Rhino. It's going to fire its Stormbolter at... We'll go with the Zone Thropes, I suppose. That's Crash. I'm going to rapid fire into the Carnifex. I have sight on the Carnifex, even though we're near the obscuring terrain from that tread over there.
Yeah, you can see my base.
Bam! I hit on 3.
Oh, man! Look at that! Stormbolter!
5's to wound.
Whoa, 2 wounds!
And no AP. We're not in the tactical doctrine yet.
And I don't get any plus to save. I win anyways because I'm a monster. It's a 3-up save. Oh, one actually gets through.
Whole damage. Nice. Now we're going to go on to the Intercessors. They're going to fire next. And because of range and the obscuring trait on this piece of terrain, the targeting is going to be a little weird, but I'm going to spend a couple stratagems first. 1 command point will go towards steady advance. They are treated as if they stood still only for the purpose of bolter discipline, so that means they get to rapid fire the bolt guns. And then I'm going to spend 2 more command points on rapid fire, changing their profile from rapid fire 1 to rapid fire 2. So they shoot many bullets.
Stormbolters!
Yeah, they're all pretty much Stormbolters. Now, these guys in the back here don't have line of sight or range to fire at anything, so that is unfortunately wasted for them. And this one guy here doesn't have line of sight to the Gene Stealers that I want to shoot at, which are over here because of the piece of terrain, so he's just going to fire at the Haruspecs because why not?
Why
right?
not?
Yeah, so his 4 shots will go there, and then the remaining 7 are going to fire 28 shots into the Gene Stealers. But I am -1 to hit because of the horror.
Yeah, the horror.
We'll start with the one guy at the Haruspecs, hitting on 4s because of the horror. I do get to reroll 1s because I am near Ragnar and, well, Bjorn. Same ability. Winning on 5s, nothing. 4s to hit because of the horror. Rerolling 1s, though.
Oh, look at all those juicy 3s.
Okay. 3s.
I see a few 3s.
That sucks, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few missed.
3 rerolls, which give you 2 more hits. 4s to wound now. Strength 4, toughness 4.
Oh, yikes.
The 6s look scary. That was actually pretty
Well, you still got above average.
That's true.
Oh, I have 5-up invulnerable saves, so I don't really care about your -1 AP.
Because they're quick.
Jump out of the way? Nope.
Yeah,
9 die. Oh, golly.
All right.
That sucks. Well, I'll pull from the back, obviously.
Right. 5 remain.
Yikes!
That's not ideal. You killed,
Well, for me, it's not
you
ideal.
killed 1 of my units, so I have to make sure I kill 2 of yours. That's,
In order to get your extra victory point,
yeah,
yes.
that's going to be kind of challenging. I'm not quite set up for that. These guys can't fire at them. They're obscured. They're safe. I'm going to have to rely on them to like grossly overkill them somehow, and that's not probably going to happen. So we're going to go with... I almost want to put Bjorn's assault cannon into them, but I don't think he's got enough to take him out, so we are... I do have to kill something. So yeah, we're going to put the rocket pod into the zone throats because it gets bonuses to hit things that fly. And then we're gonna put.
They're slightly floating off to the ground. They're like, ooh, he's like, oh, targeting system's engaged. They're like, hold on. Oh, no, I lost him, sir. Oh, I got him, sir. I lost him, sir.
It works. It works, right?
No, it's fine, rules-wise. It's just hilarious.
We're gonna put everything into the remaining Gene Stealers to kind of get that, not guarantee kill, but
That'll do it.
probably do it, right? I'll start with the rocket pod. That's the easiest. D3 shots. Waha! 3 shots. Nice. We get +1 to hit those that fly, and because of Big Guns Never Tire now in 9th edition, vehicles ignore moving and fire. Well, the only thing that suffers moving and firing heavy weapons is infantry.
Well, yeah, that's not Big Guns Never Tire, though. Big Guns Never Tire lets you fire in close combat.
That's right. That's just
the heavy rule says infantry models get -1 if they move.
That's true.
So they get that. Big Guns Never Tire says you can fire when you're engaged, but only at things that you're engaged with.
Which is what I'm most excited for in this game right now.
Right, because you just charge up and like, the guys you're fighting in close combat.
I get to use all my bullets now.
Yes.
2s to the zone trope. No need to reroll. What's your toughness?
4.
Okay, well, I'm strength 7. I have 2 wounding hits.
These are 3 up invulnerable saves. How much damage do these do?
Flat 2.
Oh, sorry.
Or 0.
Sorry, I rolled it somewhere you couldn't see.
That's okay.
I'm good.
Now, the onslaught weapons are hitting on 3s. Rerolling
Into the Gene Stealers.
any 1s, and these
Oh, look at all those 2s.
No 1s!
Dirty.
And so, you know what? I feel a little bit better
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
now that I shot everything into them. 3s to wound them. Strength 5. Okay, I am very happy. Oh, this is actually bad. I might need Bjorn, too. I only got 3 wounding hits. I rolled...
What?
I know. I rolled 9 fails. 9
What?
fails. There's
What?
no 3s and 1s. I don't have a Wolfguard battle leader.
All right.
But
I'm just stunned by the number of 2s there. 5 up invulnerable saves. And I even saved one. So one jumps out of the way, the rest of them just kind of... They hit me, but they don't hurt me?
yeah.
That's kind of weird, eh?
Stormbolters, I do have 8 shots because there's 2 of them, and it is a Dreadnought, always rapid firing. Hitting on 3s, rerolling for 1.
Ooh, that might do it then.
This could help quite a bit. I still wound on. I need to wound on 4s. 4s to wound. That's gonna be 4.
Oh, that'll probably... Only got 3 left. Want to make you commit more. Aha, I got 1 left.
Okay.
Jump out of the way.
Now I'm curious if this is better or is this something I maybe save for future turns for attrition if I need it, or do I kill him now?
Well, I'm immune to all the morale stuff because
Exactly.
I have a synapse within.
So he's not running.
And I'm very grateful that the Haro Specs was within 3 inches of him, because otherwise he could be your next target.
That's true.
Maybe.
We're gonna come back to Bjorn and his assault cannon later. I'm gonna come over to here and see if I can do any damage with. I'm gonna throw a frag grenade. We get to see the blast rule. You know, check that out. Why not? And that's gonna go from the Wolfguard battle leader. Then we're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolt pistols into them as well afterwards.
So a lot of weapons gain the blast keyword. Pretty much anything you'd expect. Anything that had D3 attacks or D6 attacks pretty much is that, except for flamers. Essentially, if you fire a blast weapon at a unit of, I want to say, is it 6 or more?
I think it's 6 or more than 11 or more.
Yeah, 6 or more, then you at least do 3 hits. So if you roll a D6 and you roll a 2, it does 3. If you roll a 4, it does 4. If there's 11 or more, which there are, you do maximum number of hits. So that grenade will automatically hit 6 times. So you can just wrap it in with whatever hits with your pistols.
That's true. So these are the grenades. I do have to do them separate because they're strength 3. They do hit on 3s because it's Wolfguard throwing it. And then these wound on 5s. And you can do all your saves at the same time.
Yeah,
So we got
so one so
wounding
far.
hit. Then 5 of their bolt pistols, their blood claws, they hit on 4s. Okay, 1 miss because of that. And wounding on 4s, 2 more wounding hits.
So 3 total between those 2. So 5 up invulnerable saves, which I failed all of. But I'm not done yet. Get back here. Get back here.
Catalyst!
Catalyst will hopefully save at least one of them. 5 up to ignore wounds. Yeah, no.
Classic Catalyst.
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't want to pull from the back because that's within 12 inches of my
Very
Broodlord.
true, yeah.
So I'm going to start pulling here, but I need to maintain that 2 coherency thing. So I'm just going to pull from the side.
I am going to go with Bjorn. His assault cannon will be firing into that one lone unit there. I can see him through the Haro Specs there, so that's always got. He's got a heavy flamer. obviously
Overkill,
not
maybe?
I'm.
6 shots, man. It should
Oh,
do
we
it.
thought that was going to be overkill.
Yeah, I know, but you already rolled your bad dice, so.
So he's venerable. He's old. He's very old. He's been doing this a long time. He hits on 2s. That's how they represent that. It works, right? He hits with everything. How accurate. One model. 3s to wound. It would be AP2 because of the Devastator dodge. Woo! Okay, maybe a little bit overkill here. But the GC was real fast.
Well, I could roll all 5 pluses.
That's true.
5 up invulnerables. Can I roll 6 of them? Nope.
That's what you get with no confidence.
Yep.
So that one guy does go down.
Yay.
That's 1 point for my attrition. I do have to kill a second unit.
Not yet, not yet.
It's not a point. It's not a point.
You have to
sorry.
kill another unit before you get it.
I need these guys to roll like gods over there, or I need one of him specifically to make a 10-inch charge and kill him in one go. Not likely, but I'm hopeful. And that's going to conclude my shooting. We are going to go on a charging. We're going to start with this one over here because it's not that exciting. No Overwatch.
Can you make it?
Aha!
Oh, you made it!
10 inches.
Oh, you should have saved that for the other one.
Don't say that. And that's how they end up. They're all still coherent of one another. Again, it is 2 inches. And now we're going to attempt the long bomb.
You already rolled your 10 plus, man. You don't get it again.
That's not true.
Please don't kill my horror specs.
I know, right?
Please.
I don't want.
Well, you know what? Actually, if you get in, I have a bit of an advantage because then I can spend 2 command points and fight after you fight. So all of a sudden you have to choose. Do you want the horror specs to kill your dreadnought, or do you want the gene stones to kill your guys? So think about that before you charge. Let that be my argument against you charging.
I'm gonna do it anyways.
Oh, come on.
I'm gonna do it.
But I'm not killing you, man.
No.
Do you want to re-roll it with a command point?
I have 9 left.
You got a lot of command points. Everybody's got 12. We're gonna be like drunk on command points for the first few games.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, look at those command points.
Wait, throw them out the window. I'm not. Just because it isn't quite really worth the charge, because Matt is right, he could interrupt, and he is fully capable of messing up that Redemptor.
Oh yes, because I gave him the monstrous size, so he's +1 strength, AP,
Right.
and damage.
I'd rather my units as Space Wolves. They're Space Wolves. They act in pack tactics, right? They do want to stay close together. That way they can countercharge and heroically intervene for each other. So they are a little bit stronger while in groups. So I'm not going to re-roll that. We're just going to go right to this fight and hopefully roll well. I am going to spend 1 command point on Overwhelming, and what I assume is pronounced as Impetuosity, because impetuous. They're blood claws, that's their nature. If they go to fight something with a higher power rating than themselves, they may re-roll failed hit rolls. And
Which you did.
yeah.
I'm 15, or I'm 12 power and you're 9?
Yes.
Now, one thing I should point out, I forgot to declare, when they destroyed the Rhino, I have a stratagem from Psychic Awakening called Aggressive Adaptation for 1 command point that increases the AP of all my melee weapons by 1 for the rest of the game. I want to say that now and not after you fight, because I don't want to make it look like I waited to see how many guys you killed before I spent the command point or not.
So we are spending that command point.
I am spending that command point.
So they're going to have Ren 2 base on their Rending Claws.
Yes, make them much more deadly.
And these are 16 attacks with the chain swords. They get +1 for a chain sword, +1 for shock assault, and +1 for the Berserk charge. It's a blood claw rule.
Basically 4 attacks each.
Yeah. 2s to hit because of Hunters Unleashed, which is their Space Wolf rule when they charge. We have 1 miss.
Good thing you spent that stratagem.
Yeah. Every hit here I think does matter, and it's mostly for the Power Fist and Thunderhammer. These wound on 4s.
Oh, Luka, you're doing it again. What happened to your 1s and 2s from before?
But hey, you have a 5-up rerollable.
Yeah. Please, 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 please.
Buzz,
5 up.
buzz, buzz. Ah, you made a couple.
That's not that's below average.
By 1.
No,
By
it's
1.
not. That's bad. Yeah, I should have got 4 there, not 2.
So you should have given about 3 here. There you go. Got 3 there.
So
I only
4
killed
die. 4 dice so far.
Okay. I'm not going to kill the unit. I don't have enough attacks. Unless you start pulling from the back.
I'm not pulling from the back because I don't want you to get your extra command point or victory points.
Right.
So I'm just going to pull from these 4 and then you can keep going.
That's what we got left. We got 4 attacks with the Blood Claw Pack Leader and his Power Fist. He hits on, it's -1 to hit and +1 to hit, so we hit on 3s. And we reroll 1s and 2s because of Overwhelming Impetuosity and 2s to wound. Aha! Oh, nice. They all hit and wound.
We'll start with the 5-up and vulnerable saves. Only 1 makes it.
So 3d3 damage. I guess they're all
Yeah, but I have to roll them 1 at a time. So
Right,
there'll
so
be
we
3
got
on
a
1,
3 and a
2, and a 1.
Yeah.
Because ignoring wounds on 5. So this is against a 3.
Oh, very close.
Dies, stays alive. So 2 more die.
2 die there.
So as long as he's alive and in coherency. So right now that's still coherency. And that's still coherency. Because there's
They want to hold hands, yeah.
2. Yeah, there we go.
And then lastly, I'll have 4 attacks with the Wolfguard Thunderhammer. Again, I can't kill them, but I can do a good amount of damage.
Yeah.
So we just hit on 3s. Because +1, -1, re-rolling for him. He does get the Blood Claw keyword. And there we go. 2s to wound, no re-rolling. Oh, only 2 wound gets.
Is your flat 3 damage? So I really need the invulns. 5 up. Well, that's 1. So 3 damage, 5 up ignoring. Yeah, and another 1 dies.
Just 1
splattered.
gets crushed.
Uh-oh. I gotta be careful here. I'm gonna have to do some very careful piling. So I'm just gonna pull this guy off because then I'll be able to do some piling in.
Well, so your coherency now is...
It's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
But I can pile in.
So, I mean, you only have 5 models. You don't have to worry about...
Oh, I don't have to worry about it anymore because lucky me.
I am not going to consolidate after swinging either.
Okay, so now that I realize that the coherency doesn't matter as much, I can get, I think 4, if not 5 in. Because I have to, oh yeah, this guy in the back, that has to stay within 12. I cannot move him. He moves slightly and he's out.
Okay, so yeah.
And so I'll just do this.
4 guys
half an inch and half an inch. So 4 guys are in.
All right, well, I was able to at least reduce
that's a huge, that's only 12 attacks because they're only 3 attacks each because there's less than 10 of them. Yeah.
Squad does not have the Storm Shield.
So I will use my Rending Claws then, because there's no Storm Shield. And we're going to be hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s. Looking for 6s, though.
Oh,
Yikes, that's only AP minus 2. That's AP minus 2 because of the extra one.
So I do go to a 5-up. 5-up armor? Hey, we're good. All right. So you know what? I didn't kill him, but I didn't lose too much. I'm happy with
I could spend 3 command points to fight again.
I think I can too, actually.
I don't. Okay, I actually.
Interesting.
And if we both do it at the same time, who gets to go first?
The active player. We have to double check the rule on that, but I think it's still active player chooses. But I gotta go double check that. On second thought, I don't actually believe I have one. That's okay.
And I don't think it's worth 3 command points to make 12 more attacks, because you saw how many 12 did, which was 0. I know I rolled below average, but that's just my point, is even if I roll average for the next one, it's not really worth 3 command points. Whereas if I had killed 2 or 3 guys with those 12, I would totally spend 3 command points to try to kill another 2 or 3 of them. But that's not going to happen.
Now we're on to morale. I don't think I lost any. Did I lose models?
Nope. You lost all those last turn.
Right.
And I lost models, but I'm within 12 inches of Synapse, so I ignore morale. And that's the only one where I lost models, right? Yeah, everywhere else you shot, you took a wound off of Carnifex, and you destroyed the entire unit of Gene Stealers, which wouldn't matter anyways because they're close to a Synapse. But it does matter because you killed 14 Gene Stealers.
I didn't really get any points towards my objectives. I couldn't quite kill a second unit, and for controlling table quarters, I'm not. I can't be within 6 of the center, and I have 1 unit over here. I've got maybe 1 over there, but I have to have at least 3, so that's obviously not happening this battle round. But we're going on to the second battle round, and now the primary objectives will start kicking, and as well as the 1 secondary.
My command phase, I get another command point, bringing me up to 11, because I haven't really been using that many, right?
Yeah,
right?
11's right.
1, 2, yeah, because I've gained 2 and I've used 2. And at the end of the command phase, this scenario gives us some victory points. So you get 5 victory points for controlling 1 or more objective, which I do. You get 5 victory points for controlling 2 or more objectives, which I do. So you actually get them separately, so that's 10. You also get 5 if you control more than your opponent, but we both control 2. So that's 10 points right there. The secondary objective that I chose from this mission, the Vital Ground, says that I would get 2 victory points for controlling each no man's land and 3 points for yours. Now I don't control the one over here, you do, but I do control the one over here. So that's 2 more points, and I don't control that one in the end, obviously. So that gives me 12 victory points in total. In the movement phase, I am going to fall back with these Gene Stealers, just a little. Now you could spend some command points and try to mortal wound me as I try to leave.
I'm not too concerned with that right now.
So my main objective here is just to do some blocking.
Correct. Keep this fight going between these 2 units.
The thing is, on my turn, Luka gets to choose who fights first after chargers are done. So he could just choose those guys and finish off my Gene Stealers. So leaving them in combat really serves no purpose. And swinging all the way around, it's time for the Carnifex charge.
Hello.
So Carnifex is injured. Old One Eye. Whoops. Sorry. Did not mean to get extra movement there. I'm going to swing his tail around, though, because all their tails are getting in the way of each other. And Carnifex number 2 are ready to partay. I'm going to float up my Zoanthropes a little bit.
Why is that one backwards?
Because he doesn't really care.
Okay.
He wants to show you his enormous brain. He's like, look at my brain.
Look at all the ridges.
Isn't it wonderful? And then he was like, yeah, you're right. I should be facing the way I'm going. He's having a conversation with the Neurothrope as he's going. He's just like, hey, sir, is this exactly what you want me to be doing? Yeah, okay.
Blam.
There's really nothing for it. I gotta go in.
Hello.
If I stay back, you're just gonna charge me and kill me. I'll advance the Broodlord.
I assume he can advance and charge as well.
He can. He's just a hero Gene Stealer.
A big Gene Stealer.
And rolling 3 dice, remember that's a Kraken thing. It's Kraken. But a little extra hitting power, and also just kind of gumming up your lines a bit more. Zoanthropes now need to run 5, which is faster than they can move. They're going to float really fast towards that objective.
Yeah, you need something over here.
Because you don't continue to hold the objective when you leave it. And it's only 3 inches from the objective, not from the center anymore, it's from the objective. They suggest using 40mm objective markers. These are 32, so we're a slightly smaller area, but it's a disadvantage to both sides. Psychic phase, we're going to start with the Zoanthropes back here. We're going to go with a Smite, which will hit your Dreadnought.
My Redemptor. All right, well, go for it.
Only need a 5.
That's good.
Get a 10. Oh, I don't have the +1 from them.
He's got it. That's right.
Yeah, he had that, so he would have just got D6. But they still do 2d3 mortal wounds, which is 4. That's decent.
He goes down to 9. I know I could Armor of Contempt over here, but I think it's going to be more valuable on this Rhino against the Zoanthropes and the Neurothrope. I don't want that getting popped too early. That's where Armor of Contempt's going to go. He's going to go down to 9, and hopefully just take a beating and survive the rest. Doubtful, but maybe.
And their Catalyst on a 7. They fail it. Let me double check, but I believe it is 7. My apologies. It is actually 6 to cast, thankfully. And I'm going to place it on the Haruspex.
Yep, 5 up to Shrug Off Wounds.
Coming over here, we'll have this group of Zoanthropes smite next. Yes, they'll smite next. They'll hit the Rhino. They need 6.
Yeah.
Be rolling ones. Oh, I wish they had +1. So it's 2. So 2 D3 mortal wounds. Why isn't it on 10+? Why is it 11+?
That's why.
Aegis Sigmar is 10+.
Yeah, but that's only D3.
Ooh, 6 mortal wounds.
Okay, that is definitely an
Armor of Contempt. So 1 command point, ignore them on 5s.
Yes. And that's going to bring me down to 8 command points, 5 ups. Okay, Shrug Off 2.
You shrug off 2.
I have 2 remaining wounds.
And you still ignore them on 5s from now on.
It's for the phase, correct.
You know what? We're okay, because I want to point out something. When these guys charge, they do mortal wounds on the charge.
That's right.
So I might be able to finish it off with a charge.
Right. And I don't know if he can attack the guys in...
One guy finished off with a charge, and then the other guy charged the guys inside.
Very true.
So I just need... I'm going to eventually do the Neurothrope. I have to finish their psychic test first, but he's going to smite one more time, and even if I just manage to zinc off one more wound, that might be enough to get through with the Carnifexes. But let's finish them first. We got the Horror.
Which will go on...
actually, I don't think I have any choices.
On the Rhino, maybe?
Because I can't see your intercessors because of the same obscured rule, and the same thing goes for everybody over there, as they all are obscured. So it's only on the Rhino.
Risk the perils?
No, I don't need a perils. I don't care about -1 to hit on a Stormbolter that at best could Overwatch. So no, we're just going to stop there. Now the Neurothrope is going to attempt a smite. Needing a 7 now. And we get an 8, so that's D3 mortal wounds, not 2D3, not 2D3.
That's 1.
Oh, you get to ignore it on a 5. Just don't ignore it. Don't ignore it!
I don't.
Thank you. Okay. Now these guys only do mortal wounds on a 4+ when they charge. He does more.
Is it just 1 or D3?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, it's still on a 4+. I think he does D3 mortal wounds.
It's D3. Okay.
Yeah, well, so it's not great. But your Armor of Contempt will only work if you spend another command point against that one.
This only works against mortal wounds in the Psyche phase, I think.
No, it just says until the end of that. Whenever it suffers a mortal wound, until the end of that phase.
Right.
So you could use it again in the charge phase. But that's more. It's more command points at least that are making you burn.
I guess we'll see if you roll any 4-ups.
He also knows Onslaught, which is not going to help me here. So we're done with him too. Brings us finally to the Broodlord, who will try to smite. So now I need an 8 for smite, but he does get +1 from his Resonance Barb. Ho ho! Ho ho ho!
Oh, that's rough. You're really making the Psyche phase look rough.
Last time he did that, he only got 1 mortal wound.
That's true, yeah.
So can we make up for that and get a 6 and average it out? Nope, we're still below average, but I'll take 3.
No save against that?
You couldn't even choose to Armor Contempt it if you wanted to, because you've already used it this round, or this phase.
He's less than half now. He's pretty hurting.
Yep. And we'll throw a Synaptic Lure on him as well, just re-roll my charges in case I roll double 1s. And 5 is enough. I get +1 to that, so we got it, we got it.
And that is, again, like Matt said, reroll charges.
Shooting phase, I'm going to try to tongue ya. So I'm going to shoot up my Grasping Tongue. I can't target your character, otherwise I would, so I'm just going to target your Dreadnought out front. On a 4. Yeah, didn't think so.
Is that the only shooting attack?
Well, I technically have shooting attacks with my Termagants, but they are too far away. So yeah, that's the shooting phase for the Tyranids.
Very good.
Charge phase, this is where it gets interesting because Luka really screws me up with his one stratagem which lets his Space Wolf units heroically intervene 6 inches, not just his characters. So I have to be very careful with what I do, but it's also a stratagem which means he can only do it once.
Correct.
So right here, I'm going to declare charge at the Haruspex, but remember I can only attack what I declared a charge against or what heroically intervened me. So I have to think, if he does not heroically intervene me, where do I want my attacks to be? So the Haruspex is going to declare charge only against your Redemptor Dreadnought. So the first question is, do you spend a command point to Overwatch?
No, you may just proceed with your charge.
Okay. We're going to charge. 8 inches obviously gets me in. I would have had a reroll. So this gets a little awkward, and I'm not going to do something that's not going to look nice, but will allow us to be able to measure more specifically.
You just want to stay just out of his engagement range?
Yes. There we go. The Broodlord will also declare charge only into your Redemptor. Now the reason for this is because this guy can heroically intervene. Now, characters in your army can only heroically intervene 3 inches though, right?
Same 6.
Still same 6 without spending a command point. And he has a relic that he can choose a guy in the fight phase to fight last. Yep. So I do not want him getting to my Haruspex. So my Broodlord is going to declare charge against him and your Redemptor.
Right.
Because he can intervene without a command point, so he's going to get there anyway, so I might as well get in base contact with him and force it so he cannot get to me.
If you do that, that means he'll be able to heroically intervene around probably.
Only if you spend it. Oh, is he
He's
a character?
That's beyond.
Oh, frick.
I know, right? It's
I forgot that he's a character.
Yeah.
Just the Redemptor,
Okay.
and you can come on in, but you won't be able to get to the Horror specs.
Got you.
Because you have to be within an inch to use your relic, right?
Yeah, I choose an enemy unit within 1 inch at the start of the fight phase.
Yes, okay. So Broodlord just to the Redemptor. Charging! Yeah, 9 inches is it.
Oh, yeah.
So we're still going to come over here, though.
Hello.
We're going to be very careful. We're going to get into engagement range.
Right.
But make it so that with your 6-inch pile-in, you can't get within an inch.
Yeah,
of
he's
me.
not going to be able to fit between that gap right there.
Right, and I got to be within an inch, so we're good right there. Next up, we're going to try to crack open your Rhino with a charge, but I can't use a command point to reroll anything here, except the charge ranges. So we are going to start with Carnifex number 1 right here, declaring a charge into your Rhino.
No Overwatch.
No Overwatch, you sure?
Very sure.
Okay, I'm in. So once again, all these talons and tails get in the way.
Right.
So I'm just going to flip
Backwards
him
they
around.
go.
And on a 4+, he does a mortal wound, which you could then spend a command point on Armor of Contempt. Ah!
Okay.
No!
It's fine. It's fine. We survived the first guy. You still have 2 more Carnifex.
Yeah. But the next one, the old one eye would have to go all the way around.
I know, this is a random question, but does he improve their chance to do mortal wounds? Or what does
No,
he
he
do as a lord?
improves their hit rolls.
Okay.
Which is very important because they suck at their hit rolls. So the problem here is, in order for him to make a charge, he's going to have to go all the way around. But he's the one that has a better chance of, actually, still on a 4+, it's just a mortal wound. So, but if he does it next, then you guys can just pile out the back and whatever. This Rhino is dead, but I'm just hoping to kill it now. Here we go. So we are going to, oh, I forgot the -1 to shoot him when you shot him before, because it's Spore Mines, but whatever, it's just 1 wound. This Carnifex will declare charge.
No Overwatch. I can't anyways.
So 9 inches. I'm going to really use that 9 inches. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that you can only have 1 unit do the heroic intervene. And he's going to use that full 9-inch
Yeah,
charge.
and don't worry about that. I think I got bigger things. Well, actually, I don't know. I got.
You got a Thunderhammer right there. As much as you don't see it, that guy's got a Thunderhammer. I know it looks like he doesn't have a Thunderhammer.
It's right there. It's hidden under his wolf pelt.
Yeah, he's just, it's in his boot. It's a boot Thunderhammer.
It's extendable. He pulls out.
Yeah, like one of those shock with a quatash, whabam! It's Thunderhammer.
All right, so 4 up.
4 up, I destroy that Rhino unless you decide to use a command point to try to stop me from... Oh, come on! Ooh. Well, now it doesn't matter if I destroy the Rhino because... Well, it would be nice to... Whatever. The old one eye is going to charge. Look at how he made it. What a surprise. Woohoo! We'll go in right here on a 4+. He'll... Yep.
Wow!
Yeah.
Huh. So he is A-okay. Is that it for charges?
I think so.
Okay, well, I have to think about what hero can mention. The easiest one is the Iron.
Well, yeah, the ones that are characters you can just decide to do.
Yep, so he's going to go there. In fact, that's like the only... He's outside of 6, if anyone's curious. That's about almost 7 inches away, so...
Oh, jeez, I didn't see him.
Yeah, I would have warned you. I would have warned you.
Okay, thank you.
Got too close.
I was just looking this way. I did not see him. And I'm like, oh, no, please no.
I measured just to be sure. I would have
Although,
said...
to be honest, it might have been a bad idea to move him in anyways because the Carnifex would get to fight him first, so...
It's true.
Yeah, unless you interrupt. So which one are you going to spend a command point on to heroically intervene with? Luka.
So I either go with Vendread, I go with Intercessors, or I could go with Blood Claws over here.
Hey, that's what we know you can do, but what are you going to do? Hard choice.
What a cool stratagem, though. Right, guys? I love Space Wolves. Now,
It is cool. I think it's cool.
I think I am going to go with Vendread. We're going to do 1 command point, countercharge, Venerable Dreadnought, can heroically intervene up to 6 inches. We're just going to go engagement range. Boop. And then that will trigger Hunter's Unleash and all that good stuff as well, which is +1 to hit and all that.
If he survives, because I'm allowed to attack him down.
That's true. You are able to attack him, but he is venerable, and he's got Blizzard Shield, so hopefully that works. And yeah, now we're in the fight phase. Start of the fight phase, I will use the Armor of Russ on the Broodlord, making him so he fights after everything else in the game has fought this phase.
I'm going to select my Haruspex to fight. I'm going to use 2 stratagems on him. Voracious Appetite is a Tyranid stratagem that lets a monster re-roll wound rolls when they're fighting. And I'm also going to do Feeding the Hunger, which is the Psychic Awakening specific Blood of Baal one, for Haruspexes only, which lets them re-roll hit rolls, which is good because they only hit on frickin' 4s.
Now, I'm a fool, and Calidus Assassin was out of mind, out of sight. Out of sight, out of mind. And Matt has spent command points earlier on. We're not going to worry about those. We're going to try and kick in now. The 2 stratagems Matt's using, they cost 1 each.
Yes.
This is the Reign of Confusion ability. Even though she's not on the battlefield, this ability still works. I roll a d6 every time Matthew uses a stratagem. On a 4 or more, it costs 1 additional command point. So the first...
And I have to use that command point, or I can choose not to use a stratagem?
You have to use that command point, and if you don't have that command point, you use the one you had and the stratagem fails.
Nice.
It is...
Annoying.
Yes.
That's fine. I got lots of command points.
So I forgot, so it fails, and I forgot, so it fails.
Yeah, the
And you know
dice are
what?
like, dude, you forgot. It was on you.
And we're just going to go ahead and assume all the other ones failed as well. And that's what I
I don't even remember how many I did. I'm going to use all 4 of his attacks using the Ravenous Maw to try to kill your Redemptor. Ravenous Maw gets D3 attacks per attack.
I will spend a command point on an Unyielding Ancient against this to reduce his D3 plus 1 damage back down to D3.
Yeah, because my monster size, I'm up a strength, AP, and damage on this weapon specifically is where I applied it. So now you've just negated the damage aspect. So this weapon is better if I roll well for my D3s. If I just get 1s and 2s, then my other weapon would have been better because it's ×2 strength, -3 AP, D6 damage each.
What if you roll the average? Which you...
Well,
Hey,
I
you
rolled above
well.
average, so now it's statistically way better now. So now we're hitting on 4s, re-rolling because of my stratagem, thankfully. Sorry, that's off camera. I'll do my best not to have that happen. Re-roll, please, because I actually got 4 out of 10. Come on, stupid dice!
You should have only missed 3
Stupid
there.
dice, stupid dice.
No, you should miss only 2.
Ah, 3s to wound.
Rerolling.
Re-roll it. Come on, you stupid dice!
This is what the stratagems are
Okay,
for.
okay.
That's
I
6?
got 6, -2 AP, D3 damage apiece.
You said -2?
Yeah,
Okay, 5 ups.
yeah,
I only make 2.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's- He's dead on average, unless you roll poorly.
Well, I can re-roll 1 of them
That's true.
because of the command point re-roll.
1, 2...
3, yeah, we got him. 8.
Got him.
That's 8.
Exactly.
Does he blow up? Does he blow up?
Explode? No, he does not.
So 2 things happen because I killed a model with that. I eat him, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, nom.
That's impressive.
Yeah, really? It'll give me indigestion later on. But 2 things happen. First off, at the end of the fight phase, he'll regain a wound. End of the fight phase is important. So if you don't kill him, he'll get a wound back. Hopefully I'll remember that. And additionally, I get to make 1 free attack with my Shoveling Claws for every model I destroyed with my Ravenous Maw. Now, ideally, you have a whole unit of infantry next to you, and you just eat them up. And they're like, oh, I killed 8 of you, so now 8 attacks with my Shoveling Claws.
I beat up my vehicles with that, yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. And I have done it before, and it's great. And so now I'm just going to do my 1 attack. It can't kill him, even if I do perfectly, because it just does D6 damage, but it could injure him. 4s to hit.
These are all rerollable. And
Still rerollable. And this is strength 14.
So 2s.
So 2s to wound, also rerollable. And these are -3 AP, so you got your 4 up invuln with your shield. D6 damage.
Blizzard Shield does not work.
Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
So D.
Come on, D6.
No
D6.
roll on him. 2.
I could re-roll that.
That's damage.
It's a damage roll. I got lots of command points, so I'm gonna
it
re-roll
might
it.
cost you 2 command
Yeah, I
points.
know. That's fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Everything might cost me 2.
It doesn't. All
It
right.
does not, because your Caliph is not here.
Don't roll the 1 though.
She forgot to show up.
No,
Yeah.
she's polymorphic. She's disguised in your
Yeah,
forces.
whatever. Nobody realizes she's there. Oh, that's way better.
Nice.
5 damage, baby.
But I am venerable, and I ignore none of it. The 6 is
On
2.
6s.
Ignore the damage. I have 3 wounds left. So down to 3, and I'm definitely not going to interrupt with a rhino. So by all means.
You sure?
Very sure. Very sure.
But it might. No.
No.
So this Carnifex will go, and I'm not quite touching, so it'll pile in. Boom, now it's touching.
Huzzah.
4 base attacks, +1 for tusks and having charged. That's a specific head morph. Normally hitting on 4s. I'm going to use my Crushing Claws to get nice high strength. That'll be on 5s. But then I charge, I get +1, so it's a 4, and Old One Eye's nearby to give me another +1. So we're hitting on 3s. No rerolls, though.
Interesting.
Oh no, I might not kill him with this first Carnifex. One thing I should point out, because it almost came up here, is that your hit rolls or dice rolls can never be modified below 1 for first off, but they can never be modified by more than 1.
Now
in this case, I had +2 -1, so they're only modified by +1. But if I did end up with a +2, like if I had used my Scything Talons, for example, on the charge with Old One Eye, I'd only get the +1 to it. So that's a bit of a nerf for my Carnifexes, but probably good overall.
I agree, yeah.
We're looking at 3s to wound because we're at strength 12.
All right.
1 wound.
I have a 6-up save, which I'll fail. And he's dead.
Does he blow up?
Boom! No, not
You
quite.
wish.
I do, I really do. Right, well, these 4 models in the back here are not able to get wholly within 3 of the hull of the Rhino, so I am going to have to spend a command point on emergency disembarkation, which means I can show up wholly within 6. But now, whenever I roll the d6 for those models, on a 1 or 2, they are vanquished, or they are slain as they try to escape as well. But it's better than losing 4 models,
Yeah, straight up 4
I think.
is.
Yeah.
I agree, because losing just flat 4, maybe you'll lose 4 right now.
Right.
But
Exactly.
that'll actually be better,
Then-
most likely, than what would have happened.
And then that go. Well, we'll take it away in a second. But here's the 10 dice for the guys inside. 1s and 2s.
Whoa, 4. Well, that's still, you lost 4.
Yeah.
Which means you probably would have lost more than that.
It's true. Yeah. It just makes me sad seeing the 2s.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm just gonna lose the 4 from the back there. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, because you would have lost those 4, and then 6 dice on average is 1 more 1.
Taking the Rhino
And the 4 guys.
and those 4 guys over there.
I will consolidate my CARNIFEX closer, but not into combat range or engagement range. This one will then go, unless you want to spend 2 command points to interrupt, which I don't see why you would.
No.
Get closer, but not in engagement range. So that's just slightly closer. And he won't consolidate. My old one I could, but he's going to stay where he is
Right.
because he wants to continue holding the objective.
True. Gotcha. That makes sense.
The idea of pulling him back a little bit was to screen Old One Eye from any easy charges. I know you can get to him if you want to, but at least you'll have more stuff to deal with. And also to make sure both these guys are within 3 inches to keep his lookout cert going.
That's all the charges.
Except for my Broodlord, but he has to fight last now.
Right. I'm just gonna go with the Vendread and see how much damage he can do to this Harvest. Not likely to one-shot it, but if I did, that'd be great.
Try.
Swinging with the axe, I'm definitely going to cleave, which is the -1 to hit, but the d6 time and the extra strength profile instead of the sweep. I have 5 attacks because shock assault, and I hit on. So it's -1 to hit, but +1 to hit because of
Heroically intervened.
because I heroically intervened and I'm a space wolf. I hit on 2s because I'm venerable, and no need to reroll. And these wound on 3s because strength 10. Oh, 3 wounding hits at -3.
3 up save normally, so 6 up. Let's see if I can get one of these. Oh, I did.
Jeez, you do. All
So
right.
2 get through. How much
many
damage each?
D6.
Okay. You can't kill him with this, but
Can't kill him.
doesn't
I do
mean
10.
Oh.
Ho ho! But now we got acid blood.
Well,
Not yet.
I've got catalyst on him. So I'm gonna
Oh,
ignore
that's true.
I'm going to ignore these in 5s. I've got 13 wounds, by the way, so 10's not going to kill him, but it could really neuter him. So 5s to ignore, but then his acid blood, you're right, does state that on 6s, any wounds that you did to me will do mortal wounds. So first off, the 5-up catalyst.
That's really good.
Yeah, I just ignored half of them with that. And I'm getting 1 wound back at the end, by the way, which is nice. And now the 5s that actually got through, we're hoping for 3 6s here, because that'll actually, well, maybe kill you, because you ignore wounds and mortal wounds on
I have
6s.
venerable as well, yeah.
Woo! There's 2 of them.
All right. Venerable?
Nope.
I have 1 wound.
Oh, you
left.
got nasty blood all over you.
So you, instead of taking 5, we're just going to have it, you take 4.
Yeah,
That way we just
because you're
have
not going to do any more damage to me.
Right, and he's down to 1. So I got you down to 9, I'm down to 1. The Harvest Specs is showing up pretty big right
Yeah,
now.
I've liked his upgrades for it. The Psychic Awakenings made him valuable because giving him the reroll the hits made up for his stupid 4+ to hit, and that monstrous whatever the monstrous size actually made his weapons decent.
Right. Now the Iron Priest gets to go next. He does have 4 attacks because of Shock Assault, +1 to hit, -1 to hit for the Thunderhammer. So 2s. We're rerolling 1s because we are beside Bjorn, who is the last of the company of RUSS.
Good thing.
They all hit, good thing. And an Iron Priest does have Web Skill 2+, thankfully. And these wound on 2s, unless you're T5.
I am T5.
Oh, so 3s.
Oh, big difference.
I am going to command point reroll this wound roll. It helps.
I'm going to dodge out of the way, though, with my uncanny reflexes. 5 up invulnerable saves. Otherwise, I'm dead. So 2 get 3. How much damage each?
The flat 3 Thunderhammer.
Well, then that'll kill me.
Unless you want to command point reroll one of these. Did you use a command point reroll? I think you did on a damage roll. Yeah. So he does go down.
You killed my Warlord.
Hey!
Was that
That's
your-
your Warlord?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really matter. I don't have any secondaries for Warlords.
Yeah, and I don't have a Warlord trait because I took the
Oh, that's true.
physiology
Yeah.
instead.
Okay.
Still,
Well,
that's good.
got him. What other things have synapse? These guys have synapse, right?
Yeah, so they're still providing synapse where I need it.
Yeah. And so I do have a stratagem in Space Wolves. It's called Knowledge of the Foe. Whenever I kill a character with a Space Wolf unit, I gain a command point.
Like just flat out.
It costs 0 command points and I gain 1.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that's my command point for the battle round.
So you're observing my brains. Like, ooh, it's got really mushy brains.
Yes. This is where they're softest. I'm not going to bother consolidating because he can fight again.
Well, he's too busy observing the guy and telling everybody how that hammers turn out to be really effective. If you bash him on the head really hard, it cracks.
paralyzes
Who
up their
knew?
heads.
Who knew?
So that brings us to the end of the fight phase.
Yep.
Is it time?
It's time.
But it might cost you 4.
Oh, whatever.
You don't
I'm not
care?
going to last long enough to use all my command points anyways.
Reign of
So,
Confusion.
okay, go ahead, roll it. So
Yeah.
4 command points for whatever it's called for the Tyranid. At the end of the fight phase, I can select a model that's fighting and fight again.
And that's the RUSS.
And the RUSS has one more wound to get through.
And he's going to kill two of my, well, not two Vendreads, but one of my Dreads.
And then whatever you do to him after that, I'm like, you did well.
He's got his value already, right?
Yeah. Now, we already restored a wound to him, but we have to remember that that's at the end. So if I do any more damage and kill him, I don't get to restore another wound.
Gotcha.
So I'm touching the Dreadnought, otherwise I would totally swing and stick my butt into that guy, because he heroically intervened, so I could attack him as well, because I can only attack people that I charged or that heroically intervened, and he heroically intervened, so I'm able to charge him, or to attack him. I just want to point that out, because that is a change from 8th edition.
Right.
Heroically intervening in 8th edition did not allow you to attack them unless you had declared them as a charge.
Kind of opens you up to all sorts of attacks.
Well, and also the chargings change, because now you have to make it into combat with everybody you charge. So they had to, of course.
They had to do that.
It seems that way. So I'm going to use just my Ravenous Maw, because it has more attacks, 4d3. That's a little below average, but I just got to get one wound. Actually, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it's a little below average, but I just got to get one wound off of you. 4s to hit. I still have those stratagems on because it's till the end of the fight phase, and we're
Oh, it didn't help on the hits, but we still have the wounds.
3s to wound rerolling. I need all of them because you've got a 4-up invulnerable save, which we know 4-ups either deny everything or nothing.
Right. And
Only one of these has to get through. They're D3 damage each.
I have no reroll.
You have no reroll, but you still have your stratagem on, which is reducing damage.
No, that was the other guy.
That was him.
No, it was the Redemptor. I reduced the damage he takes by. Yeah.
So this is D3 plus 1 then.
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So it's minimum 2.
4. You got to roll 4 sixes. This wouldn't be the first time somebody's rolled 4 6s.
For dramatic effect.
Ah! Okay,
No,
we're
he's
done.
dead, yeah.
Yeah.
Does he explode? No. He is down. RUSS took out...
Now, fun fact, I could consolidate now into you, and you wouldn't be able to fight me. Because we're at the end of the fight phase.
Interesting.
So this is after everybody's fought. I could pile in. I think in 8th edition, the reason I'd want to do that is because then it would force you to not have charged me next turn.
Right.
I want to say, though, there was an FAQ in 8th edition that clarified that you could fight. So even though we don't have a rule book explanation and the FAQ is technically invalidated, we're going to pretend that still exists to dissuade me from doing this. Because otherwise, I totally would I'd go right into the 2 of them. And the reason for that is because then you will not next turn have counted as charged or being charged.
Yes. Something about that would feel wrong.
Yeah, and then you'd have to shoot the RUSS with your assault cannon, and you'd be wasting some good stuff on him.
Right.
But I will not do that. But I will just kind of move up a bit.
Keep me back.
Yeah, and try to block you as much as I can. I have 9 wounds with Catalyst on. I'm in Synapse. So, whatever.
That's not so bad. Yeah.
That was a pretty good round.
That was really good. We
got morale.
You killed 3 of my things.
Yeah.
You have to kill 4.
You have to kill 4 to get your points. So we got morale on these guys, though.
That's true.
5 or...
Morale on them, they're okay.
They're fine.
Since they're okay, that will be the end of the top of turn 2.
Yeah, and I don't get any... This is not when I score victory points, because they do it at the end of the command phase, which essentially is like the old beginning of your turn.
Yeah.
So I like, by the way, I love beginning a turn gaining victory points for holding objectives.
Yeah.
Because what that does is it forces your opponent to react to you rather than you just being able to walk over and grab something. Like, because before, if it's the end, you just throw 1 model on it.
Right. You do all your shooting, do all that stuff.
I'll put 1 guy on it. It's mine. But now if you put 1 guy on it, he's like, well, I just got to shoot that 1 guy off, and you won't get it next time.
Yeah. So now I have to try and kill old One Eye.
Right. And I also wanted to get you off that with that Rhino. I'm like, I can't just leave the Rhino alone. And I have to make sure you disembark that way because I don't want you on the objective. Exactly. Because these guys are troop choices too, so they're even objective secured. Right?
Correct.
So that's another reason to take care of it. But they'll be able to come up and take it from me. So we'll see what happens.
At the beginning, at the end of my command phase, I gained my command point and back up to 6. I will gain 5 points because I hold 1 objective. I don't hold 2 objectives, and I don't hold more than Matthew, so I only get that. Don't gain any of the secondaries for vital ground, which means I'd have to control those 2, or the back one, or all 3 of them. So that's it for my command phase, so on to movement. And I do have some things that can show up, namely the Calidus Assassin.
Well, remember this time.
That's right. That's right. Oh, So I realize this now, and I forgot to mention it. The reason why I was rolling for Reign of Confusion in the second battle round is because I spent 2 command points to make it last for the first and second battle round. It normally only lasts for the first one, and I felt bad that I forgot about it, so I'm going to spend 2 command points to make it last for the second one.
And let's just not have you spend the 2 command points because you forgot to use it all the first round. And I definitely used at least 3 or 4. Like you only made me burn 1 command point.
I suppose.
I definitely spent enough in the first round that would have happened. So we're just going to have those two cancel each other out.
Wash?
You
Okay,
forgot to
that's
use it
fair.
for the first round, so you got to use it for the second round.
Okay, that's fair. All right. And I'm not going to use Reign of Confusion for the third round. I don't, because I don't have enough command.
If you do want to spend 2 command points, I'll let you take it to the third round.
I could.
Because you totally forgot it for a round, so...
Yeah, the way it works, you can use it any battle round you want now. I could use it on the 5th battle round if I wanted to, but I don't have the command points to do it. Well, I do, but I don't, you know.
Do you want to burn 2 to hope that I burn more than 2?
Right. No, I want to do more fun stuff.
We're getting low. I only have 4 command points left. And and you can see they've been
very relevant.
Influential.
This is going to be this needs to be a high damage turn for me. I think I can do it.
I think so too.
My goal, before anything is said and done, kill him, kill all 3 of them, and kill that.
Oh, is that all?
And the worst thing is, I think I could do it.
Pan out for a second. So your goal is to kill my army.
Yes!
Because all that would be left are my zone throats and termagants.
Yes.
So my goal, so Luka, this is my goal. Are you ready? My goal is that you don't kill any of my guys.
But
it's just brilliant tactics.
It is.
Here are my tactics. You ready for my tactics?
I'm gonna
kill that, and that, and that, and that, and that. That's my tactics.
I guess that is essentially what I said, just not verbatim. Well, movement is pretty basic. These guys moving up here, we are going to try and take... This is going to be a fail-safe in case I don't kill the 4 units I need to kill this turn.
Well, yeah.
We're going to end there. We're going to have Bjorn...
Come on, Bjorn, bring it.
Bjorn will move
Wow, right in front of the tongue. That is brave, Bjorn.
Iron Father.
He's going to charge into the tongue.
Iron Priest right there. Yes, I'll go right into that tongue. We still have Catalyst up. Now, the movement over here, we're going to move up and over. We're going to stay on top of the crate for the most part, just because...
You got 6 guys.
Yeah.
So you still have to follow the restriction of... That's fine. As soon as you just tuck him back a bit, he'll be within 2 inches of this guy too, because it's 5 inches and 2 inches.
Then we're going to go something like this. Something like that, because they're going to charge and go around this way. And then we're going to have these guys move in this direction, hopefully charging enough to get to Old One Eye. Now, granted, they can't shoot him, but I want them to try and take him out. And then Ragnar will try and solo this guy. With a 6-inch move, they're going to come up to that line, stay out of engagement range, and, try and maintain coherency. That's where they're going to end up. And then, well, Ragnar is going to move to there. Hello. He has an aura called War Howl. Everything gets to reroll charges around him, and he also makes things consolidate 6 inches instead of 3. I'm mostly saying that on camera, so I remember.
Pile in or consolidate?
They get to consolidate 3.
So not pile in.
6. Not pile in, though.
Okay.
That's going to conclude my movement phase. Now, the rules have the certain phases broken down when movement. You have movement, then reinforcements. So essentially saying your reinforcements come in at the end of the movement phase. So from the skies descend Skyclaws. More than 9 away from the Termagants there, and from the Zoanthropes over here, with the intent of, claiming table quarters and trying to go for that backline objective. Or at least threatening it, making you have to start focusing back there a little bit as well, as opposed to beating the crap out of my front line. And now for the Calidus. I either put her near objective 1, because I am foregoing that objective, or I could try and go for all 4 table quarters by putting her somewhere over here and then maybe going
That's only an extra point, though. Your objective is worth... Well, each objective is not worth 5. It's if you control more than me that's worth 5.
How many wounds does the Neurothrope have?
Neurothrope? I'll have to double check that. But
she could go... Does he have no save? Like armor save?
He has a 5-up save
Okay,
base.
but she got AP3 for their Phase Blade. I'm really tempted to go for the Neurothrope. It's a little bit more assassin-y like, so I am going to go for that. So I'm going to place her more than 9 inches away from the Neurothrope, but she has an ability called Polymorphine, where she gets placed 3 inches plus D6 away from enemies, so she can get within that 9. So she has to be just outside of 6 inches. Not bad, not bad. Just going to go in this little corner here, making it so she has this table quarter. Well, she'll be in this table quarter. I'll have Skyclaws in that table quarter, in case, bad things happen. And then it's a 6-inch charge to Mr. Neurothrope. On to shooting. We're going to go with the Hellfrost pistol from the Iron Priest into the Harvespecs, hitting on a 3. Ah! We hit. It's strength 8.
3.
3 to wound. All right.
I think. Let me double check. It might be toughness 8.
I rolled a 2 anyways.
You rolled a 2? Sorry, he's toughness 8, so it was 4s. I know you missed anyways, but...
He's thick. It's a thick boy. All right. So he's done. We're going to go with... I remember Bjorn. There we go. Bjorn the Venerablest. He's going to go ahead and shoot guns.
The most venerablest.
He's got to do his flamer forward, and then we're going to do the assault cannon into... They have no wounds on them, eh? I guess we're going to
3 wounds each, 3 up invulns.
I will go for the Harvespecs just in case he does kind of have to die. He's apparently like a major threat. Who would have thought?
Yeah, right?
Heavy Flamer for the bugs. Here we go. That's 5 automatic hits. That's 6 dice. We wound on 5s. No rerolling. We have 1 wounding hit at AP 1.
3 up becomes a 4 up. And a 5 to ignore from Catalyst. Oh wow, you actually got a wound through with the Heavy
1
Flamer.
whole damage. 2 is to hit with his Assault Cannon. Rerolling 1s. That was a 2. Reroll for him, his own rule. He is the last of the company of RUSS. 5s to wound and no rerolling. 2 wounds at AP 1.
So -1 gives me 4 up.
Yeah,
1
damage.
5 to ignore. Oops, sorry. Over here.
1 more damage.
So you bring me down to 7 out of 9. And I do not do my acid blood from shooting, just melee.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Then we're going to go with the Blood Claws. We're going to throw a frag grenade, but I don't think I get any automatic results on the random amount. And then we're going to shoot 5 bolt pistols at them. Bolt pistols, though. 4s to hit, 4s to wound. Double wound with bolt pistols. No relevant AP. There is no AP, actually, yet. And then, because there are only 5 of them, I don't get an automatic result on the grenade D6.
Easy way to remember that, you got 5 anyways,
Yeah.
is that it's the same as unit coherency. As soon as there's 6 or more, they get hit more with blasts.
Yeah.
And they have to be kept together more.
That is an easy way to remember. And wounding on 5s, 2 more wounds.
Hold on. That's hits.
Those are hits, yeah. So I hit on 3s, he's Wolf Guard. And 5s, 2 more wounds. There we go. So 4 wounds in total from the bolt pistols and a frag grenade.
And we're going to do some acrobatics.
Acrobatics kind of worked.
2 of them did.
Only 2 die.
The other 2 tried. They really, really tried. I'm going to keep them from the back, just to keep you forward.
And now we move over to these Blood Claws. We're going to throw a crack grenade into that one from the Wolf Guard over here. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolt pistols into him as well. I wonder if obscuring will come into play there.
Yeah.
But we're not too concerned about that. 1 bolt pistol hitting on 4s. Reroll the 1 for Ragnar. 5 to wound. You're toughness 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
5
so
wound.
2 wounds so far, and then I have a crack grenade, which misses. Oh,
Reroll ones.
It hits because it's Wolf Guard throwing it, and 5 to wound. It also wounds out -1.
So the 2 pistol attacks, 3 up saves. 1 gets through. And then the crack grenade, 4 up save. And that's D3 damage.
Oh, that is D3 damage. And it's going to do it 3.
Ooh, 4 damage total.
Oh my.
So you brought him down to 4. Probably unnecessary. I think your Thunderhammer Power Fist combo will kill him, but it's nice to know that you got
More
him softened up.
insurance than anything.
Yeah, of course.
Ragnar doesn't actually have any fancy shooting attacks. He's just going to throw a crack grenade at the Carnifex right in front of him. 2 to hit and a 5 to wound. No. Now their shots, I'm going to put these 4 into those zone tropes and then the remaining 6 into those zone tropes. Nothing's rapid firing. I wound him on 6s, wound them on 5s, and I think I've already done enough shooting damage to them anyways. The 4 shots into those zone tropes, hitting on 3s, reroll the 1 for Ragnar nearby. We have 3 hits that wound on T5. 4 wound. The AP does not matter.
2, 3 up invulnerable. Ha!
Yeah, there you go.
Blam! Into the shield.
And then the 6 shots into the other squad on 3s, 1 miss, and 4s to wound. 2 wounds.
3 up invuln. Hey, 1 got
damage.
through.
And then I have 1 last shot, and that is with the Calidus assassin in the back.
Oh, you got these guys too. They got pistols.
Oh, that's true.
Unless you don't want to fire and risk me pulling you further away from the charge.
Probably won't actually fire their pistols. I'll consider it, but the Calidus will go next into the Nerothrope. Now, here's a weird question. What's his leadership?
Oh, jeez. I never have to know that. It's probably 9.
Shooting with the Nero Shredder, the way this works is if I hit, which I do, instead of rolling to wound, I roll 3d6. If I roll equal to or greater than the leadership of the target, then that target suffers d3 mortal wounds and the leadership was 9.
Yes.
I do.
So D3 mortal wounds.
And he will take 3 mortal wounds from the Nero Shredder. The information from the Iron Priest reigns true. They are powerless without their brains. Or target their brains!
Target the brains!
And from over here, not gonna shoot, not worth it, not worth risking that nonsense. So we're gonna go on to charging. You know what, I think I'm gonna go with those Skyclaws first, because surprisingly, their charge is probably the most important. So if I do use a reroll, using it over there might not be the worst idea. Would you like to Overwatch?
They're 1 wound each?
Yeah, 3
Toughness 4?
Yeah.
If I could see the future and I saw that I killed a couple of them, I still wouldn't do it because I realize that's not enough to really slow you down.
Okay then.
So if I saw the future and I killed 6 of them with my bolt pistol equivalent flesh borers, like no hate against flesh borers, it's just, if you only got 11 of them, it's not worth a command point. And I think I need my 4 command points for some of the other craft that's about to go down.
Yikes.
So,
Fair.
So no.
Fair. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and roll a 9.
Nope.
Oh, very close. And I can't re-roll just the 3 to look for a 4-up. I have to re-roll the whole thing, which I will do. I'm going to spend a command point. I'm going to go down to 5. And I'm going to hopefully roll a 9. Nope, that's a 7. They fail. No, they tried. The Calidus Assassin is going to declare a charge against... I have to make a choice here now. See, I kind of want to go for them, but she only has 5 attacks. It's not going to be enough to really hurt them. So
they are going to be fearless, essentially, because
right.
they ignore morale with close to the synapse creatures.
So I am going to go for...
There's no Overwatch here.
Yeah, we're going to charge the Zoanthrope.
Well, the Zoanthropes or the Neurothrope?
No, I meant the Neurothrope.
Look, if you declare them 2, you've got to get here, which makes it a longer charge. Right now it's just a 6-inch charge.
Just the Zoanthrope.
Okay, no reroll, though.
No reroll. Looking for a 6. Oh. There's that 10. Well, she's going to go, if you could, please and thank you, right up to him. Exactly. Thank you. For the rest of my charges, we're going to go with...
I'm not going to be overwatching, so you can just start rapid firing your charges.
Bjorn then. We'll go right there. And then Iron Priest. We'll go right there. There's no reason to heal anything. That's why I didn't bother. And then Blood Claws, charging just that Carnifex.
Okay.
They're going to go 6, which is fine. That's how they're going to end their charge. They are all still coherent with 2 other models in their unit. Now Ragnar is going to go ahead and declare a charge just against that guy specifically.
You got him!
Got him with a 7. What a hero of the chapter!
I'm a hero.
Lastly, the Intercessors are going to declare a charge against both.
Yeah, because you won't be able to get to the other one without getting to the one.
Old One Eye and a Carnifex there. They're going to charge a 5. Now that's probably good enough, but if not, Ragnar does let me reroll. Only allows me to reroll failed charge rolls, and that's obviously successful. Well, it's not obviously successful.
I just checked it. It is successful.
So he's going to get within engagement range over here.
Just barely. The reason you might want to, like, if it was may reroll charge rolls, you may have actually considered rerolling that.
Exactly.
5 inches doesn't get as many guys in. Now, mind you, it gets to your, where's your Thunder Hammer?
Yeah, that's the guy pointing.
Yeah.
He's the most.
It's hidden in his finger.
Yeah. No, it's extendable in his boot.
Yeah.
We discussed this already.
Yeah. Or maybe it's just maybe it is his boot. Maybe it's a Thunder boot.
There we go. So I'm giving up this objective.
Just paint up his boot with some glowing effects.
I'll get a
Thunder boot.
Thunder boot. That is not it for charges, people. We got Blood Claws charging Gene Stealers. Wow, look at that.
I wouldn't be surprised if after this fight phase, my army has disappeared.
We as Space Wolves, we loves to smash.
I'm liking the combat though, rather than just shooting me off the table.
Yeah, make it personal. I am going to use the Armor of Russ here at the start of the fight phase to make him fight the Haruspex fight after everything else does.
In this case, it actually has 0 effect, because either I use 2 command points to be able to choose him anyways, or I don't, and you've all charged him.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So now I have to make a very careful decision of who fights first. Not super concerned over there.
No.
Over there, I'm mostly concerned over here. I know in my head it's either Ragnar or the Blood Claws that have to go first. Ragnar does have a 4-up invulnerable save. He hits like a truck. But the Blood Claws don't have much of a save, but I do have a Storm Shield in that unit, and I'm mostly relying on the heavier weapons. So I think Ragnar is going to be the first one to attack. And I'm, in true Space Wolf fashion, in true showing off fashion, I think I'm going to spend a couple command points here. And we are going to do, I got to look up the name. Touch of the Wild for 1 command point. Every time I roll an unmodified roll of 4+, it counts as 2 hits instead of 1.
What? 4+?
Yeah. And then Seeking a Saga lets me... Well, it depends on what his power level is. What's the Carnifex's power level? It's another one of those weird Space Wolf stratagems that require knowledge of my foe's power level. I actually can't use Seeking a Saga because we're the same power level, funny enough. So I guess I save a command point, and hopefully... that
I think you're going to get him.
I think so. I hope so.
I don't think this is a problem.
So when Ragnar charges, he has 10 attacks on the charge. I know. He has.
Is that just his rule?
He gets 3 attacks for shock assault instead of 1. So he has 7 attacks base.
Is that the rule? Please buy this model.
Yes, absolutely. Ragnar is like the best 120 points you could ever spend for Space Wolves for sure. We are hitting on 2s, rerolling 1s, and again every 4-up is an extra hit. So we have 4, 5, 6 extra hits because of Touch of the Wild.
So 16 out of 10 hits?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes. There's another funny interaction if you're fighting Thousand Suns where it doubles up. It's the same thing. Every 4-up counts as an extra hit. Then if I'm in the Assault Doctrine, every 6 counts as 3 hits. There's a lot of stacking on that guy. Only strength 6. Unless he's T6. I think he's T7 or 8. Oh, probably 7. 5s to wound. Seeking a Saga would allow me to reroll that, but these are AP4, so no save. So 1, 2, so that's 4, 6, 8, 10 damage. 10 damage.
Yeah, he had 7 left.
Do they have death throws?
No.
Oh, that's not fun.
Bloop. He's gone. You got him.
I got him. I feel real good about that. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to consolidate, but we're not going to get an engagement range. And then his base is touched right now. We're going to try, we're just going to go like right here, you know? Yeah, right there. After that, are we interrupting?
I'm going to try, but you still have the entire battle round. You disrupt me on a 4+.
Reign of Confusion, I do.
Ooh, so it'll cost me 3 command points. I had 4 left, but the important thing is I wanted 2 command points left so I could do 2 stratagems on my Haruspex.
Right.
So I'm going to put one on him, and if I'm on a 4+, you were just going to say no.
I feel bad about it. I hope this one fails. It does, thank God.
Okay, so I'll use the one that lets him reroll hit rolls, because it's better than the reroll wound rolls, because he hits on 4s. And he's just going to pile in, touch both your guys. Just believe me, he's touching them.
Hey, we got it!
And then he is going to, I'm going to just try to eat your Dreadnought.
Bjorn? Okay, well I will do the reduce the damage he takes by 1 stratagem as well. It's called Unyielding Ancient. He is the most unyieldingest, ancientest. All right, let's do this.
So I get 4d3 attacks.
Here we go again.
Nice.
Let's just call that above average by a bit.
Yeah, a little. So we got 11 attacks. That's nice. Assuming I make these rolls. 4s to hit. Thankfully with the reroll here. Hey, that was a pretty good roll without a reroll.
That's exceptional.
Oh, and the reroll did basically nothing. Now I'm wishing I put the reroll on the wounds instead. 3s to wound.
Your strength.
8.
Oh, I might be TA. Let me double check, sorry.
He's toughness 8.
He is thick.
You know, in hindsight, I may have thought of using the other weapon, but having seen that I got 11 rolls, I got 11 attacks.
This might still be
I'm
better.
happy that this is the one I did use, but it's only 4s to wound, no rerolls. Well, it's technically enough to kill him, but probably not going to. 4 wounds.
No invulnerable save on Bjorn, so he goes to a 5-up armor, which he fails.
Ooh, okay.
So they're all D3 plus 1, but I reduce the damage I take by 1.
So it's just D3 each, and he's 8 wounds.
Yeah.
So on average, he doesn't die.
Right.
Because on average I get 8, and then you ignore them on 5s with your most venerablest of venerablest.
Exactly. Bjorn being Bjorn.
Come on, above average again. That's average. I got 8.
Oh, wow.
3, 3.
All right, do I survive? Venerable!
Huh? Oh, you tease. You tease. That's how everything else first.
I know.
1 wound left.
Wound remains on Bjorn. Man, that Haruspex!
Yeah. I'm telling you, everybody, Haruspex sucked, but then you got a points update, and Psychic Awakening gave me purpose.
Obviously, Psychic Awakening did its job making bad units good.
Well, the Psychic Awakening gave me that +1 strength AP and rend, and damage, and also the stratagem to reroll the hit rolls. I'm going to keep saying that because I wish that I could have 3 Haruspexes all with that upgrade, but I can only have 2.
Only 2?
Well, because I can pay a command point to bring in another adaptive physiology, so I can have 2 Haruspexes as the monsters, but I can only have one of them rerolling hit rolls. So that's the hard part, right? Unless I do the 1 High Fleet adaptation where they get a +1 to hit when they charge, so it'll be 3s, so it's a little better, but still.
I got you.
I'm done.
With that said and done, I am going to go, and then again, that interrupt does supersede the Armor of RUSS, so I'm going to go ahead and finish resolving everything over here, and I'm going to pile in, get a little bit closer, and then, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it. Because then I have to watch out for the tail, and then worry about coherency. Not worth it, I'm just going to attack with the big weapons first.
So
This will be the Wolf Guard with the Thunderhammer first on 2s. Reroll 1 for Ragnar within 6. They all hit. 3s to wound, that's strength 8. Oh, triple 1. 1 at -3.
6 up. No, so that's 3 damage straight?
1 wound left, yeah.
Okay.
Now the Power Fist also has 4 attacks. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. And I think I said the other guy was hitting on 2s. I'll have to double check that, but I think this
You're going to overkill him anyway, so it's not a big deal.
I think the Power Fist on its own should be able to kill him.
-3 as well?
Correct.
So I need 666 to stay alive. You got him.
Yeah. So he does go, no death throws on them, so he does go down. And then I will consolidate towards Old One Eye, and I get to consolidate 6. So we're just going to
So now you have the objective with the objective
I
secured.
do have some troops over here now. Yeah, that is right. The intercessors are going to pile in and around. I just need 2 hands to do that. And I only have 5 guys in range to attack because that guy is within. Actually, no, that is only the 4. But the Thunderhammer is the most important. So they are veteran intercessors. So he's going to have.
So lots of attacks.
As a sergeant or pack leader, he's got 3 attacks base. 1 for being a veteran pack, then 1 for shock assault. So he's got 5 attacks with that Thunderhammer, hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s. There's no 1s, and wounding on 3s. Only 2. You know what? I will command point reroll one of those, which helps. 3 go through. Well, 3 don't go through, but -3.
6 up.
Oh, it's only 6 damage. I forgot he's Old One Eye. He's got 9 wounds. He's got 3 remaining. So now I have some chain swords that might do it.
Lots of attacks.
Sorry, not chain swords.
I was going to say, I didn't see any chain swords there.
They don't, only the pack leader can take it for the intercessors, but they have 3 attacks base for being veterans, and then 1 extra for the shock assault. 2s to hit with their close combat attacks. Again, not chain swords. Rerolling for Ragnar. 5s to wound Old One Eye. We only have...
Oh, you most likely didn't kill him. Interesting. I thought you'd kill him. I had to fail all 3 3-up saves. Nope, I didn't fail any of them.
A single one. And we'll get a little bit closer in when we consolidate.
Just means he gets to fight back.
He does survive, and he does get to fight back. There we go. And yes, I still do like the Thunder Hammer on them. I'm probably just going to put a Thunder Hammer on him.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go with the Calidus Assassin attacking the Nerothrope. He's only got 2 wounds left. That means I have to snake 1 in to get him. 5 attacks with her Phase Blade, I believe. Hitting on 2s. Haha, no rerolling. And toughness 4, strength 4, wounding on 4s, -3, no invulnerable saves allowed. So that's 4 damage, I think. Well, it's 2
Doesn't matter.
damage.
I have 2 wounds left.
Right.
So you got him. Did you want to consolidate into my Zoanthropes? Watch out, they might smack you with their atrophied claws.
I'm curious what they got, so sure.
It's 1 attack each, strength 4, AP nothing, like 4s to hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Let's do this for the fun. I'm gonna stick to
And
the
if I
building.
fall back, I can't psychic power.
That's true, but you can still psychic power if you stay there.
I know, I can just zap her with the smite.
Poor girl. Though, I will note that I can't do priority threat neutralize as a stratagem because I did the knowledge of the foe this battle round already. You can only get a command point with stratagems and abilities once per battle round still. So even though I have 2 of the similar abilities from 2 different
Well, not just
codexes,
still,
Right.
including from stratagems.
including from stratagems.
Yes.
It used to be those didn't count before, but now they do, and I understand why. It's because you already have so many.
Yeah.
All right, Bjorn. 6 attacks for shock assault with True Claw.
You can do it!
2s to hit because he can't hit on 1s. Rerolling 1s because he is himself, and that fails. Strength 12, so 3s to wound. Rerolling though, because that's what True Claw does. 5 wounding hits at AP ridiculous.
What?
-4. Do you have a 2-up or a 3-up?
I have a 3-up.
Okay, so these are 5d6 damage.
Yeah, you can do it. 7 wounds.
Got him.
Well, maybe. I still have
Oh,
Catalyst.
Catalyst!
I still have Catalyst.
So 13, 14, 15, 17 wounds.
I ignore them on 5s.
Catalyst.
Oh, you know, he's dead. Now, more importantly, you did 7 wounds to me?
Right, so the acid blood, you only get to roll 7 times for it. Please
Yeah.
don't roll a6.
Yeah, because we're supposed to allocate them 1 at a time.
Right, yeah.
So I just need a single 6, although you do ignore it on a 5+. So I
do
did
have
like 2 6s just to be
That
sure.
going For it. There's
1 6. The acid, it burns!
Ah, he's the
you're
most
fine.
venerable man alive!
Hold on, I'm not done yet.
What do you mean you're not done? Death throws.
I got death throw. On a 6, I will thrash out and do 3 mortal
Oh, it's
wounds.
flat 3.
3 inches, 3 mortal wounds.
Oh! Okay, fine, whatever.
Oh!
All right.
Oh! Yes!
He's not dead yet.
Yes! You gotta roll 3 5+.
Most venerable man alive. So close. that
So venerable.
you can't use command points. Not that I could. I think I've already used it already.
Yeah, whatever.
But you can't use it on stuff like
I don't
that.
think it's gonna matter too much.
Explode, maybe. Oh, wow. I gotta see if he explodes. I think he does. That might actually kill him now, too. So, yeah, he explodes, does D3 mortal wounds to namely him, which I just took 3 mortal wounds, so he takes 4, and which means he's dead. So, even though... Whatever. It doesn't really matter. I was like, maybe I'll attack with the Iron Priest first.
Oh, no!
Because it doesn't really matter. Because even if I attacked with the Iron Priest first, all that still would have happened.
Yeah.
Now the last fight, because that is gone, RUSS took out all of that.
I know, I'm so happy.
Took out all of it.
You have no idea how happy that makes
All
me.
of that. That's so many points he took
For
out.
so long, my RUSS just was the coolest looking
I was gonna say, it's the
Tyranid
coolest looking
model
Tyranid model,
that
yeah.
did so little, so nothing. And now, oh, thank you, Blood of Baal, for making him actually useful.
Worth his points.
Oh,
Yes.
and they lowered his points. So
Yes.
it's just, oh, I'm so happy.
I
happy.
I can't agree more. That was outstanding. I don't feel great about it, but it was cool. So now we're gonna go ahead and resolve this.
Yeah, goodbye, Gene Stealers.
I'm gonna go with the powerful weapons first, I suppose. All right, Matt insists I do the chainswords.
Yes, they're more likely to kill him. Let's just get this over with.
They might be. That's 4
we got, like,
guys.
4 attacks
with
each.
16 attacks.
Yeah.
2s to hit with chainswords.
They hit them 2s?
They get +1 hit
Oh,
when
they
they
charge.
Yes.
That's right.
4s to wound.
Oh, that should do it.
something.
It was a crap roll, but it should still do it. Oh, maybe not. Yep, you got him.
Got him.
Good job.
Good job, Blood.
Hey, you get your extra points for killing 4 units. That was 4 units.
did 1.
Your backup was important.
Look at that. So they're just going to consolidate out towards that objective a wee bit.
6 inches, right?
No, they have to be in a Ragnar for that.
Oh,
So they only get
that's
to
good because you could actually have grabbed that objective otherwise.
Maybe actually, yeah. But they can't though. That is where they end up. That is the end of my turn. There's no morale to do for the Tyranids or myself. I don't think. No, I don't have to.
No, you didn't lose any.
Oh, you know, old one, I guess, to attack back.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't fought yet. Yeah. We're going to do his monster scything talons. He gets his own bonus of +1, so he's going to hit on 2s. 5 pluses allow me to make another attack. So I naturally don't get any. But I don't get any 1s either, so you can't really complain.
They all hit.
And these are going to be 3s. I think they're 3s to wound. Yes, they are strength 7. 3s to wound.
All right. AP.
-3, 3 damage.
Okay. Well, that's a 6-up save for Intercessor. We will make one of them at least, so that's 2 dead Intercessors. Just going to pull them back here.
I got his tail too.
Okay.
I forgot to mention the tail is going to be on them because the tail just does 1 damage each. It's D3 attacks.
Yeah,
but the silent tails are 3 damage, so they're really good for killing Primaris. If it spilled over, it wouldn't matter like Age of Sigmar, but it does here. D3 attacks with the tail, which will hit on 2s. And they're strength 4 -1 AP, so 4s to wound. 1 wound at -1, 1 damage.
Do I want to put? I'll put on a regular Blood Claw. We're okay.
You're good.
And now for morale on them, they are veterans, so they're up to leadership 9. They don't have to test. They are A-OK. And now we're at the end of the battle round, where the only thing that comes up for me is my attrition. I get 4 points for attrition because I killed more than Matthew did. Then for table quarters, I have the Intercessors wholly within this one, more than 6 away from the center. The Calidus is in that one. I have my Sky Claws over there, and then I have these Blood Claws who didn't go past this quarter. So I do get 3 points for that, I believe?
3 for having all of them. Bringing you up to 12. That ties the game 12-12 at the end of turn 2, or round 2.
Bad, not bad. Now we're on to battle round 3, where now my Reign of Confusion is over, and I am going to go into the Assault Doctrine as well, which means my melee weapons have an additional AP, and anytime a Space Wolf unit rolls an unmodified 6 to hit, it counts as 2 hits.
At the beginning of my turn, first off, Old One Eye, before even the command phase, Old One Eye gains a wound back. He
I
regenerates.
assume that would end up being the command phase.
Or just at the beginning of the turn, so it can be outside of the command phase.
Right away. Yeah, that's true.
And I gain a command point in the command phase, and then the end of the command phase, which is now, I control 2 objectives, which is more than my opponent.
Because I only have 1. I did forego this 1 objective in a gamble at them making that charge.
Which they did not.
It failed, but I wanted to go for it.
So that means I get 15 points. 5 for controlling an objective, 5 for controlling at least 2, and 5 for having more than my opponent. Plus 2 for my secondary objective of holding one that's in no man's land. So that's 17 points. So the score was 12-12. Now it's 29-12, which sounds like a lot, but he can quickly make that back because we're only in round 3.
If anyone's curious, you can get up to 90 points maximum in an Eternal War mission now.
Plus 10 if your army's painted.
Plus 10, which is a little stipulation they have at the end.
Movement's pretty simple. These guys are going to... You know what? I'm going to throw a run at them.
Oh,
no, you know what? I'm not.
No advancing.
I'm not. Because I'm going to charge.
Oh, you know, we forgot to attack with those into her as well. But,
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, okay. That's
Well, you know what? If she has 1 wound left, then I'll do the attack because they could have maybe plinked off 1 wound.
right, gotcha.
But
that's a quicker way.
If I smite and it doesn't do anything, then I don't care. But if I smite and she's got 1 wound left, then I'll quickly roll the attacks from last turn.
Sounds good. That's the easiest way to do it, probably.
Yeah. So they're going to move up there so they can engage them because they're all invulns. So bring it.
Right.
You're going to charge me anyway, so I might as well keep you away from the objective. The Termagants are kind of the same mentality. We need to make sure they stay in coherency and that they're going to stay within 12 inches of the zone throats back with the Calidus. But they just want to keep you away from the objective as much as they can.
Yeah, I didn't end up putting the Sky Claws wholly within the ruins there, mostly because it was kind of hard to pull off. They'd be at upper levels, fly doesn't work, charging down levels, so it wouldn't have been the cleanest. And I'm hoping that their bolt pistol equivalent weapons aren't going to be that devastating.
Yeah, they can get lucky.
Yeah.
Straight to Psychic. We'll start with, actually the more important one is killing the Calidus, so we're going to come over here because that'll be easier to pull off because we need 5 to cast Smite. We got 10, there's no pluses. So we do 2d3 mortal wounds. She's got 5 wounds.
Yep.
So that's 4 wounds. Does she have any way to ignore them?
No.
All right, then let me quickly resolve their 4 attacks to see if I finish her off.
I know I didn't have to put her into combat, but I wanted to either force Matthew to fall back.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have gone after her. I would have floated them over here
Exactly,
and blammoed them, and 4 of them would have just melted away. So that was still the right choice.
I think it was the right choice, mostly because if he didn't fall back, then I would have got to attack on his turn as well. And remember, you can't fall back and cast psychic powers in 9th edition anymore. So
Exactly.
I think this was a good call. We'll see if she dies, though.
So their 4 attacks that they would have done last round would hit on 4s, wound on 4s.
Oh,
Okay.
that's scary.
What's her?
She's got a 4 of lightning reflex. Dang it.
She's dead.
I can't remember. Oh, see, now I can't.
You know you did rerolls in the combat
I think I did
phase.
rerolls, and I probably would not have done a reroll.
Not her. Not for 1 attack,
At
right?
that point in the game, yeah. So she
Yeah,
does go down.
hindsight, you'd want to.
Right. Oh, that's super unfortunate. But you know what? It was cool anyway.
They also know the horror. That's the -1 hit and leadership. We might as well try it. We get it. We'll put it on. It doesn't matter.
-1 to hit.
Yeah, and,
You can mess with my
leadership.
power.
And leadership. I'm gonna put it on your intercessors.
Okie dokie.
I don't know. We'll just guess. And then we're gonna super smite over here. Try to really do some damage to your blood claws over here. I need the 6.
Just got it.
2d3 mortal wounds. Come on, spike it. Ooh, that's 4 of them, just straight up melted.
So yeah,
And I know you better keep your coherency, otherwise I won't charge, and I'll just let them die automatically from being out of coherency.
Well, they got the regular coherency now, the old school one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna keep the power weapons just because they do the D3 to 3 damage.
You said do.
I'm gonna take that. He's technically a gray hunter. So I think it was actually 4. There we go.
Yeah, because they're not in coherency.
I know.
Which you can choose to remove the guy out of coherency.
Oh.
But if I choose not to charge, one of them just automatically disappears. Where if I choose to charge, you might actually do some damage to me.
So I guess I do have to lose the power.
You don't have to.
I'm gonna lose them no matter what.
True.
Yeah. So he's
Yeah.
right there.
Well, unless I charge, and then you wouldn't have, because you could then.
I don't think you'd charge though.
They also know catalyst, which they're going to try to put on themselves, which they do.
Okay.
So now they ignore wounds out of 5 plus.
That does throw off.
Shake me now. Shake me now.
now.
Shooting phase. We're just going to put a bunch of little flesh borers into these sky claws. Should be fine, right?
Do too much. Is it 11 guys?
Yes. And I'm going to use my last command point, or my newest command
newest.
point, for Scorch Bugs, which gives +1 to wound on flesh borers.
Ah,
Don't worry, they have to still hit on 4s.
that's true.
Okay.
Good old Termagants.
Yep.
We got 2 hits.
But 3's to wound.
It's true.
Hey! Totally worth it.
I'm gonna roll that one first to see if it mattered. It did!
I got one.
Yeah, I got the one. It was because of the strategy.
It is because of the strat.
That guy will go down. Boop.
Yeah, I got one. Charge phase. 4 zone throws are going to charge. I need to get to them because they have objective secured, so I need to tie them up so they can't come. Although I guess
Exactly.
they could retreat, but well, we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll kill them in close combat.
And I'm not gonna Overwatch.
No.
Just charge on. In.
No. I made it.
Good enough. Hello.
Hello.
These guys could charge.
These ones can charge because they don't have anybody in close combat with them anymore, but they're not. No.
Right.
No.
Okay.
And the Termagants are not going to charge either. For 2 reasons. One, they would die, and the other one is they'd be out of synapse, so they would.
Oh, yikes.
They'd
Yeah.
double die.
That's a double. That's a
Double
double down
die.
on that one. So that means you get to fight first over here.
Yes, watch out for the power of the 4 zone tropes. You know how embarrassing it would be if these guys died to zone tropes?
I would feel pretty. I'd feel pretty bad. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, it's just raw dice here, Luka. No rerolls, no stratagems, no tricks. Just 4 attacks that hit on 4s and wound on 4s. No AP.
They're just floating into me.
Just 1 damage. They're gently.
I guess they have like claws.
Yeah, those are atrophied claws from years. I don't know why they still birth them with their atrophied claws.
I don't know.
4s to hit. Oh, I could still kill both of them.
Enough to kill them.
I could kill both of them. 4s to wound. I killed none of them. Uh-oh.
Goodness.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, I will then go over here. Oh, you know what? Would you allow me to go back and heroically intervene with him?
Yeah, sure. Bring it in. I know the old one is dead anyways. So remember, at this point, this is probably our first time actually seeing this in this game, in 9th edition. Now that Chargers are done, Luka gets to choose first.
Yes.
That's a big deal.
That's a
because
huge
old
change.
One Eye would want to go first, obviously.
100%.
He's going to die no matter what, but it'd be nice to take a few guys with him.
And then Ragnar is going to obviously
Do the honors?
do the honors. Yeah. I got 10 attacks because I heroically intervened.
You can do it.
For shock assault. I hit on 2s.
You roll 1s because you're
Reroll ones.
watching yourself.
And because I'm in the assault doctrine now, Savage Fury kicks in. Every 6 counts as 2 hits. So I'll just put with that.
So 11 out of 10.
Yes. 5s to wound. And these are all -4, 2 damage each. So that's 6 damage.
Yeah, you got him.
Yay! And now we're in the 3rd battle round. I'm going to spend another command point on knowledge of the foe to get a command point. And it turns out he too is powerless without his head. He can't actually consolidate. He can't fit through that gap.
Who cares?
Yeah.
You got it. Look at all these guys.
I did it.
If only I had one Haruspex.
If only we had one Haro spec. We
You think he's good against? You think he's good
against?
against dreadnoughts? He is fantastic against elite infantry because he gets the extra attacks for each guy he kills.
Right.
He's just like he just keeps going.
Shovel claws.
Yeah, he's like and the rest of them, and then your leader just gets snapped in 3 pieces.
Right.
It's wonderful.
Now, last fight on this turn, we have... Well, there's like nothing left to do in the turns anymore. Battle round 2 felt like it took forever. Not gonna lie.
That was the game.
That was the game.
Battle round 1 was a little bit of positioning, soften up the side. Then number 2 is where all the crap went down.
So we're gonna start with the Chainsword because I know we'll do the Thunderhammer, whatever.
I've got 2 wounds left on the guy, so...
You do have Catalyst too, so...
Yeah, but I'm just saying the flat 3 damage. I do ignore wounds on a 5+, so
Yeah.
this is gonna suck for you no matter what.
No matter what I use. You know what? We'll do Chainsword. He has got 1, 2 for Chainsword. Yeah, he's got 4 attacks. Oh no, he's only got 3 attacks because he didn't charge.
But he was charged though.
I still get that Shock Assault. I have to charge for Berserker Charge.
Okay.
They have to be the one to charge to get that. So 2s because I was charged, not rerolling. Wounding on 4s. 2. Wow. Nice.
Oh, that's enough.
Looks fancy. We're okay. Yeah.
Okay, we're done there.
So now we got that guy who he's got 2 base plus 1 because I was charged. He doesn't get the Berserker Charge either. 3s to hit because plus 1, and 2 to wound because of Strength 8.
Does he hit the warp field? 3 up.
I do. Oh, how dare they? Oh, I see spread out pretty good too. I guess I could fall back behind 3, but my guys might die.
Yeah, you have to spend command points and risk them dying.
And risk them dying.
But
we'll see.
But it is an easy way for you to grab the objective. Yeah. But you still don't get the points in your turn because it's the end of your command phase.
And now we're on to leadership, which I do owe you one over here. I lost 4.
4 guys. And what's your leadership? 7 or 8?
8 with the.
So just don't roll a 5 or 6.
We're okay. We pass. And then for keeping tallies of how many things Matthew has killed, he killed my Catalyst Assassin, and I think that's it.
Yes.
Looking over what's happening.
So it's 1 unit, so you have to kill 2 units to get your extra 4 victory points.
Right. Hopefully that's easy. Oh, I've already killed 1.
This battle round, yeah.
Yeah.
It's each battle round.
It's
Yeah,
each
so
battle
you
round.
should be able to
I just have to kill.
Yeah, no problem, right?
them,
Just kill some
ideally.
Termagants.
Or them.
Piece of cake,
Easy,
right?
easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, we're gonna go on to Space Wolves for turn 3. Now my command phase, I get a command point, and that's pretty much it. Now on the movement.
Hold on.
Oh, there's more.
Yeah, you get your 5
I got my
victory
victory points. Yeah.
Yeah, that's 7 victory points. 5 plus 2 for the secondary that you chose.
Right.
The Vital Ground.
Vital ground. So I get 7 more points, putting me up to 19. For movement, most of the stuff it's gonna go forward. We know that. I'll do that in a second though. This one here though, I want to show off a new stratagem, and it is Desperate Breakthrough. So when this unit, break out. When this unit goes to fall back, I can go through enemy units as long as I still end outside of engagement range. But either one of us rolls a d6 for those models that go through, and for every 1, a model is slain. So I'm gonna do that.
It's like when a vehicle is destroyed.
Right. So we're gonna.
So it's 2 command points to do this though.
But I want this.
It's great for this. I hadn't even thought of it for this. I just thought of it if you got wrapped and you didn't want to be in there anymore.
That's typically what it's for.
But that I don't know. I think this is going to be more what it's for.
Right.
Because if you're already wrapped by a lot of guys, then maybe there's a reason to break out. But often it's an objective.
It's true.
So just don't roll double 1. I'll let you do the honors.
They're okay.
Fine.
So the zone throws, surprisingly, aren't fast enough to cut down the Space Wolves as they desperately.
You literally hit them like they're like balloons. They're just like thunk. Hey.
The atrophy claws just kind of.
They're like whoa, whoa.
Momentum.
I can't stop.
My claws are going to do a jump. They move 12, ignoring terrain and models when they move. That's so pretty much the rules for fly is still the same how they move. They ignore terrain and models in the movement phase, but they only ignore models in the charge phase.
And terrain.
And
Yeah, it's not vertical. They don't get the infinite vertical.
Yeah, just not the infinite vertical in the charge phase. Now, over here, this is all going to move forward. I'll show you where it ends up and what my thought process is. Here's a spoiler. It's kill. All right, and that's where everything ends up moving. So we have...
So hold on, but what is your tactical thoughts, Luka?
Oh.
What was the brilliant strategy?
Move forward towards target, roll dice at them as we attack them, and hopefully kill them.
I like that. It's simple.
Yes.
Effective, easy to remember. So,
and it kind of goes towards the goals of the mission, too, I'd say.
It does. It even matches the goals of the mission.
Crazy. Shooting phase, we're going to start over here. We are going to spend, I have 2 command points left. We're going to rapid fire these guys here, so their guns become rapid fire too. And then whoosh, into them they go. Just want to kind of make sure, because that's...
32 shots.
Yes. I dropped a die. Here's 31 out of 32 attacks. I am not picking that up.
Oh, golly. These all hit on 3s, right?
I'm going to reroll the 2. There we go. And I get to reroll 1s because RAGNAR is nearby. These do hit on 3. Oh, no, these hit on 4s because you gave them the negative.
Yeah, that's right. They're -1.
There you go. 2 more hits. These are 4s to wound. Oh, that one. That's a 3 anyways. Okay, not bad.
3 up invulnerable saves. Jeez.
Kill 1.
You got the 1.
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
That's all you're getting.
He'll go down. And then realizing I could have just pulled in all their shots together to go along with it, but I guess they hit on 4s and all that other nonsense. 5 bolt pistols on 4s. Yeah, 4s, rolling 1s, there's no 1s. And then wounding on 4s. We have 1 more wounding hit. And then we'll throw a crack grenade quickly, re-roll, it hits, because that's the wolf guard that's throwing that, and that also wounds. So we have 1 bolt pistol, and then a crack grenade.
Bolt pistol, saved. Crack grenade, saved.
All right. Lastly, Ragnar will throw a crack grenade as well. Hits, wounds on a 3, it wounds. I'll let you reroll it. This is, yeah. Hey! Look at that.
D3 damage?
Do I kill him? 5 up. It says no. He's got
so
1
2
wound.
damage. Down to 1 wound.
And that is it for shooting over here. Sure, I'll throw a frag grenade and shoot 4 bolt pistols into...
I have 11 guys. When I built my army, I didn't think about the fact that with blast...
Oh yeah, it's automatic!
11 is automatically full hits. I don't think it really matters, because you're probably going to murder them all anyways.
Right, but still,
But if I had like 5 points left over, and I'm like, yeah, why not? And I'm like, oh,
That's a detriment.
maybe not.
So the grenade's got the blast rule. It automatically has 6 random attacks, hitting on 4s because they're blood claws. Nice.
They suck.
Okay, we got 2 hits there. They wound on 4s, so we have 1 wound, and then the pistols are next. Now these actually have AP because I'm in the assault doctrine. We have 3 hits and 2 more wounds. So 2 wounds at -1, 1 wound at no AP.
6 up on the 1, and then the other ones just get through my 6 up save.
Right.
I will pull from here. I know it puts them out of coherency, but that doesn't matter because you're going to kill more anyways.
That's going to bring us to charging, where Ragnar is going to lead us off. I assume they have no Overwatch.
Nope.
And no command points either. So Ragnar is going to go ahead and charge 6, which should be good enough if you could be so kind. And then the, what are they called? The Blood Claws going in next.
5 is in.
5 should be good.
5's totally in.
So I can't actually re-roll that because it's a successful charge. And we're just going to end it there. The Intercessors are going to hang out on the objective. Also, there's no room. And now the Sky Claws are going to go ahead and charge. I'm going to roll it, see if I get a high number. Whatever, 60, just go into that. Yeah. Hello. There's no way for Matthew to interrupt, so I'm going to go ahead and start with Ragnar, because why not? He's the coolest. 10 attacks because of his rule, re-rolling the 1s. We have 2 6s, which means I have 12 hits. Wounding on 3s. No re-rolling here. That's going to be 4, 8 wounds. From Ragnar and his legendary Frost.
2 damage each.
Correct.
3 up.
I kill 1 guy. Wait, no, I don't.
Yeah, no, you finish him off.
I forgot I did damage for the crack.
Wow, wow, wow.
Got him, and then I'll consolidate in, and then they'll pile in and fight. Thank you. I'll go with the Thunderhammer first. Thunderhammer first has 4 attacks, hitting on 3s. The 6 is an extra hit, though, with that Thunderhammer. Wounding on 2s. They're only toughness 8. That's 5 wounding hits.
This is where it happens. They're 3 flat damage each, and I got 3 wounds. 3 up invulns. You got him!
Got him!
Finally!
They went down!
Woo!
All right, then I'm not going to worry about consolidating. It's not that big of a deal. I'm going to go ahead and fight over here. No piling in, just throwing a bunch of chainsword. All right. I forgot, yeah, these all these have AP1 on the chainsword.
Now here's the problem. You can't pile in towards the objective.
Am I too far away?
Because there's no enemies over here for you to pile in towards. The only way you can pile in is that way.
Oh, yeah! I'd have to consolidate. I guess I don't get that objective then.
That might be important, because I'm running out of guys.
It's true.
So we're going to be able to quickly determine who's the winner just by counting up. We can just like simulate the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's another good thing.
But hold on, because if I can blast them off of this objective,
which you should be,
then you only have 1 objective.
That's true.
So it's worth 10, not 15. I don't know if that'll matter. So you want to just jump to my turn?
Right. So at the end of the battle round, I do gain 4 points for killing more.
So you're 6 points behind me right now.
Now, what about the table quarters? Do I have 3 table quarters?
Well, you are.
This is a weird one.
Well, you could have chosen.
I guess, yeah.
You were just like a toe over.
Yeah.
So you're in this table quarter right here.
This table quarter.
You're definitely in this table quarter right here.
And then this one, maybe?
Yeah. These should be fine. 36, 24.
But are they more than 6 ways?
Yes, they are. Easy. So you're good.
I got my 3 table
But
quarters.
you don't have 4 because they are not wholly within the 1 table quarter.
They're going to have to come. I overcommitted with them. They're going to have to come over this way.
And that's right now you get this, right? So 3 more points?
Correct.
So you are.
It's only 2, actually. It's only 2 points.
Well, right. So you are 4 points behind me. And I want to point out that I'm like 1 model away from getting an extra point because of my thin the lines.
Right.
Have I killed any characters?
You've killed, yeah.
Oh, I've got a couple more points. I got 6 more points there.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the math really quick because we're actually running out of filming time.
That's true.
But we're pretty much done. I'm going to see if I smite you. Let's just do that right now.
Okay, so we'll go right to this, and they'll get within 3 of the objective, I suppose.
Yeah.
I assume.
Float.
And then they
Floatity float.
Smite. And then on your turn, I don't think you gain any victory points in your command phase.
In my command phase, I get none because I did not have any objectives.
Correct.
So let's just smite them.
Smite. 5. Yep.
2d3.
Oh,
so they're both dead.
Yeah, they're dead no matter what. Boop.
Because you didn't kill. So those are both dead. So that's my turn 4. So I just did the math. I'm not going to tell you how many points we have exactly because there's so many that's hard to see. We're definitely not at the max
Not
or
even close.
like primary or
We
secondary.
didn't do the best.
So I am currently 15 points ahead. Yes, I am currently 15 points ahead after my turn 4. And that's including my thin the lines and killing your characters.
So you're counting your end game objectives.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay.
And because you don't have any end game objectives, right?
No.
Because yours were all getting them throughout the game. They're all
Mine were
progressive.
the progressive ones.
So I'm 15 ahead. So on your turn, immediately you've got 1 objective, which is not more than me.
Right. So it's only 5.
So it's 5 points, but it's worth 2 more, so that's 7 points.
So I'm down by-
I was 15 points ahead of you.
Yeah.
Now I'm 8 points ahead of you. Let's assume you're not necessarily going to kill all those guys.
I think if the math checks out, I'd take the safer route and I would hide behind the obscuring terrain and go for the table quarter. Like he'd go for that, Ragnar would go for that objective. They'd stay on this objective, commit to this table quarter. They'd go to that table quarter.
So you get 3 points from that.
Right.
So now you are.
Wait, I only get 2 points for that. And still for table quarters, it's 2 points.
No, it's 3 if you get all. Oh, right.
I can't get all 4.
So then you're 6 points behind me.
Right.
And you're not going to kill them. So then we go to my turn 5, and this game's only 5 turns long. It's not random turn.
Right.
I get 7 points for holding that one.
Yes.
So I'm 13 points ahead of you.
Right.
And then I don't do anything else. Maybe I smite a couple guys, but it's not enough to get any more points because I just barely, because it's for every 10 models I kill. Okay?
Yep.
So how many points am I ahead of you right now?
13.
13 points ahead of you.
Oh, no, sorry.
Then
I think I may have tried an advance. No, I don't think I can make that.
It doesn't matter. You don't need it.
Yeah, it's
You don't need it. You only need 2.
Right.
So I'm 13 ahead of you. So then on your turn, you control 2 objectives.
Right.
And more than me.
Right.
That's 15.
And then I'd get
And then you get 2 extra points for that, and 3 extra points for this.
For an extra 5.
And an extra 2 points for
table quarters.
Table quarters.
Right.
And if you didn't kill my zone throw, so let's just say you didn't.
Right.
So you win.
I think
But
so.
it's
yeah.
close.
It came down to turn 5.
It was close. We actually had to calculate the rest of the game. I thought after turn 2 I was going to be off the board. But that Horospex rock!
Hero. He was a hero. I had fully expected the forces to so the forces I put over here pushed through. That's what I expected.
Yeah.
I expected the trio of dreadnoughts and the Iron Priest to be able to do the same over here.
Imagine if that Rhino had actually died.
Yes.
And the Carnifexes charged the guys inside.
That could have been like little things like that, right?
Yeah. But then imagine that the Horospex didn't do so ridiculously well over here.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, like, that would have been it was so close. I was down to 1 with that Armor of Contempt.
It was huge. That was
It kept you
worked out
alive.
perfectly. I'm very happy with that. But I also got lucky, and you failed 3, 4. Well, it was mostly the first one I think that really
Yeah,
mattered.
because the first one's the most important. Because after that, you could outmaneuver me.
Right.
It would no, that's not true. I could get to you, but it would only have been with like 1 guy.
Right.
But still, that 1 guy could have torn through most of them because a lot of them died when they got out of the vehicle.
Funny enough, I didn't even use my storm shield. Like the storm shield we talked about, the new rules for the storm shield, didn't even use it.
It didn't end up, you barely had it anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to be doing a lot of discussion videos, so we're not going to, and this video is already long enough, so we're not going to do a ton of discussion here. We've already given you lots of discussion throughout this battle report, so hopefully that gives you a lot of insight of what's going on. And you still can go watch the next battle report in the MiniWarGaming Vault.
And that's Josh and Dave, which are recording right now.
Yeah.
That's Astra Militarum versus Bile. Oh, geez.
Fabius Bile.
Fabius Bile's creations. And he's playing Demon Engines and Defilers.
Cool. That's cool. So that'll be in the vault, so you can go click the link below. Go check that out with the new 9th edition rules. But I have to say, I really like if I had to say one thing, it's the terrain rules being updated. Now, I don't want to try this, but I want to know how this is effective, really, like shooting armies, because there's some really nasty
you
Space
don't
Marine.
want to play again.
I
get
don't
it,
want to try that against that, but the terrain definitely helps that, but I have a funny feeling it wouldn't be enough. Because even just the minor amount of shooting you did turn 1 was enough to like start to remove units.
It took out the Gene Stealers.
Like a 14-man Gene Stealer squad, you're just like, it's gone. It's
Yeah.
just basically what you wanted to shoot
I
off.
did have the weapons that were meant to kill that kind of unit,
Yeah.
but still.
But still, it's just too easy, it feels, for that. And so, then there's ways to counter. I'm not saying that, but at the same time, like we see the tournament results. We know that the Space Marines are doing well.
100%.
Yeah, and so that's a little disappointing because the edition's not really going to be such a... Like the Overwatch, I like that Overwatch is mostly gone, mainly because it's all
good
the
for a job.
roll. No, it's all the rolls. It's like, okay, I'm going to roll another 30 dice. Oh, you're going to charge there? Okay, I got to roll another 5 dice. Okay, you're going to charge there? I got to roll another 6 dice. Most of these aren't going to do anything, but I got to roll them because there's that occasional time.
Right.
Or the Flamers. You know the Flamers are going to do something, but everything else, oh yeah, well, roll. Oh, I actually got a hit over here. Whoa, I can't believe that Overwatch did something. I hate rolling lots of dice for no effect.
Yeah.
It's like, this is, yeah. So I like that change just for the speed of the game. The scenario, I know it's just the first scenario we did, but that was cool.
And they're actually all very similar. The things that mostly change is how the deployment works and where the objectives go.
You can definitely feel the heavy influence from like, tournament stuff, but in a good way.
All the positive, I agree. All the positive from the ITC, the ETC is relevant in this. If you want to play ETC, you got Maelstrom. Now, if you want to play ITC, you have Eternal War. It's very good, very well designed. Big fan of it. I'm curious to see how the secondaries are going to play out. They should change from game to game based on what your opponent brings.
Yeah, hopefully we don't just find those two that everybody always brings, right?
Or maybe there's the table control ones that you're playing Raven Guard or Harlequins or Eldar, something that can get around the table. You don't care about killing, you care about just controlling the table.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
that's
different
cool.
way to play, right?
I was disappointed by the psychic ones. There's basically a couple psychic ones that are, you take psychic actions to get extra victory points, but psychic actions require you to give up all casting of that psyker. And because all my psychers could cast 2 powers, I'm like, I give up 2 powers to do this one thing. I'm like, if it was just to give up a power to do a psychic action, I totally would have taken them. But I would just sit back and one guy, because I always had like one person who had 1 power they didn't bother using. Onslaught ended up not being that useful, so I would have just used it there. So I'm disappointed that it's like that, because that only really works for lots of level 1 psychers kind of thing.
Yeah, like Astra Militarum or
even
all
like,
I can think of.
No, even like Tzeentch and stuff where they have excess, like excess psychic stuff to spare. But no, I like it. I like it. It's like I said, the Space Marine meta is still going to be hard. Luka's Space Wolf list here, as much as it was good, definitely was not the top tier stuff.
I did have another list that Matthew was very correct and convinced me to turn it down, because I was going to be playing.
Well, you were playing against Steve originally, then he wasn't able to come in today. So
this list, I was actually much happier with the outcome of this list and how it looked compared to the other one I initially had. That had a little bit more Primaris in the form of Repulsor, a second Redemptor.
Yeah, a second Redemptor Dreadnought and a Repulsor, and I looked at that, I'm like,
right, I don't.
You're just removing me turn 1.
Yeah,
I won't be able to do anything, and that'll be not any fun. So you basically, if you want to guarantee that you're going to have a good back and forth game, have both players bring more close combat. I find that's the truth for most games that I've played, not just 40k, Age of Sigmar, Lord of the Rings, War Machine, Hordes, Infinity, all these different games. That shooting is almost always more powerful.
Almost, yeah, of course.
Because you have so much more control over range and stuff. But the games that I find most exciting are the ones that incorporate more close combat. But the moment you introduce armies that are really good at shooting, then it just kind of nullifies. It doesn't matter how good your rules are. If you have armies that are spectacular at shooting, then you kind of throw away a lot of the positioning and the back and forth of the game. So, and you could have even 2 shooting armies, and maybe that'll be more interesting, but it just kind of precludes a lot of other things. Still though, I look forward to see kind of how the meta shifts with 9th edition, and what the FAQ kind of brings out. And the points changes, like maybe that'll make up for some of the things as well.
Right, and I want to toy around with my favorite 40k armies as well. I want to play Necrons, I want to play Death Guard, I want to see how they perform now in 9th, specifically Death Guard. And I want to see what the new Necron rules are going to look like in the future, because I assume there's going to be a fancy Necron Codex coming out sometime in the future, hopefully soon.
You would assume so, given that the Indominus box, the Space
Yeah.
Marines and Necrons, so. Not that the Space Marines need a new book, but the Necrons sure could use one.
That'd be wild. The Space Marines got another new Codex, and they got pretty much the last one as well.
Well, you know, if the new one came out and it nerfed them, I'm all for it.
True.
I'm all for it. But they just got a bunch of supplement books, so I doubt that's going to happen. But, you know, never say never. It is Space Marines after all.
After all, it is Space Marines.
Well, we better get going.
Yeah,
It's late.
We gotta go. I'm tired. That was a good game, though.
It was really good.
Hopefully you guys got some great insight into Warhammer 40k 9th edition. Many more videos to come, so stay tuned. See you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in, and happy wargaming.